But we both agreed that Cooper wasn't all that.
No. CeeDee Lamb is the
and I think
CeeDee Lamb looks like Young Thug, by the way.
What's his fucking name, man? Who was Gallup? I think that as long as he's healthy, he's a 1,000-yard guy. Like he's
ACL,
a good dude. I think he is
coming off that ACL though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. As long as he can, be healthy and not injured.
Here's the thing. I trust the Cowboys drafting. They draft well.
Exactly. And that's another nuance with that. And you got to think Dak, even though what they did, Dak was coming off a ridiculous injury last year. Now he's going to be a year or two afterwards. He's going to be a lot more comfortable from the start of the season. He's got two good backs because even though Zeke isn't worth the money he's being paid, Zeke is still in my opinion, he's still a top 10 running back in the NFL. And you got two running backs. You still got two good receivers. Schultz is at tight end. The defense, obviously, I think that they take a little bit of a step back. I think DQ just was hot coming in. And then Michael Parsons is a fucking baller, obviously. So I think that just helped a lot of what they were doing. But Mike McCarthy is still the coach. So that's kind of like their weakest link. But
at the same time, what great coaches is Mike McCarthy coaching against?
I think Nick Sirianni's not a bad play caller, honestly. I was shocked at how well the Eagles did.
Yeah, but he's coached one year. They had a weak schedule. We don't know. Ron Rivera is probably one of the most overrated coaches in the league, and their owner is nowhere to be found.
He's just respected. I just feel like Ron Rivera is respected. Because, not saying because he's a minority. Think about it. He's a Hispanic coach.
You know where he's from?
Where?
My wife and him went to the same high school.
Really?
Yeah. He went to Seaside High School.
I didn't know he was a California kid.
Yeah. Played for the 85 Bears.
I knew he was on the Bears. I knew that.
With Dick Butkus.
Yeah, he's Riverboat Ron. And
I forgot who I was listening to, and they were talking about Ron Rivera. They're like, he's only had 3 winning seasons.
Yep, but every time they won, except one of those years, well, then it wouldn't be every time. They won the division, and of course, going to the Super Bowl was a big deal.
Right. But I don't believe in the New York Football Giants. They hired a coordinator who Dayball, we think he's good, but Dayball's career was brought to life by Josh Allen, who we say is the best quarterback in the league.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something about Daniel Jones. And I know we're starting this podcast on a weird football note in the middle of summer, but that just goes to show how the juices are flowing and why everybody's excited for fucking August. Like just the preseason to get here.
Football sales.
You know what's crazy too about that? I'm looking at the date. It's June 29th. So in about a week, in about 10 days, we'll be a month out from the Hall of Fame game.
Damn.
Yeah, man. We're less than 45 days away from the start of football.
I gotta see how my work schedule works, but we need to get the Flowery Branch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think it'll be as bad as it has been in the past. We one of the warehouses up there in Gainesville.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Sorry, always excited about to talk Falcons football. But we got a warehouse that's up there. So I always used to pass it. So whenever I would be going up there, I'd always say, I'm going to get out there early enough and I would go stop by. So I've been to a couple of training camps and practice. Like I've been to that stuff. It's always a good time. And this year is going to be so different. I was just telling Justice that earlier. It's going to be so weird, man, when you really do think about it. When that first Sunday comes and you're looking on TV and Matt Ryan is playing for the Colts, that is going to be different.
It's going to be weird.
He's missed 3 games his entire career, and very few people can even remember those games. I mean, you can because there's so few, the games he missed. But when you really ultimately think about it, the last time you had another guy being your starting quarterback, it was a trio of Leftwich, Harrington, and Redmond in 2007. Isn't that crazy? Bobby Petrino was your head football coach the last time you didn't have Matt Ryan as your quarterback. Like, that is weird. Like, when you – it's gonna be different.
We had state championship wrestler Roddy White lined up at the X.
Yeah. Pulling up his shirt on Monday night, the last game that Bobby coached of the Falcons, have with the free Michael Vick t-shirt on the white. Yeah.
You want to hear something funny? I was listening to a discussion on a podcast, and they were talking about the top 10 receivers in the league. And one guy put Cooper Kupp at like 5. And the other guys were like, how do you say there's 4 players better than Cooper Kupp? He's like, because he's in Sean McVay's offense. He has Matt Stafford force feeding him the ball. And these are some of his numbers. I didn't do the research. A lot of his receptions come on downs where like there's a 70, where come on early downs where there's not much pass rush. And he plays the Z.
See, you think he's a system guy.
That's what he was saying. He was saying he's a really good system guy. And some people were like, but he executes his role better than everyone else. And they're like, yeah, but other people do way more shit. And last thing, when Jalen Ramsey was on the pivot, they asked him about his top receivers. He put Odell in his top 5, and he didn't put Cooper in his top 5. He practiced against both of them. So he's probably talking about skill and ability and not all the other stuff that we look at. But somebody who's the 5 hardest people that I've had to guard, he was like, yeah, nah, like one-on-ones, I kill Coop. He didn't say that. That's what I was assuming.
And I could see how that would be. Like I said, there's so many other different factors that go into it, and it's all subjective anyways.
Super subjective.
So regardless, there is no right or wrong answer. Well, there are wrong answers, but there is no right answer. But there are definitely wrong answers.
Absolutely.
So I could definitely see, because Odell Beckham, when healthy and not in Cleveland, has proven to be a top 5 receiver in the NFL. It's true. It's true.
Cleveland his fault or Baker's fault?
It was Baker's fault. If you delete Cleveland out of his equation, you could easily see how. Because that second half of the year, it took him. He scored in his first game because he was on my fantasy team this year. But he scored in his first game. He scored in almost every other game that he played in. He might have not had 100 yards. He might have had I remember the Green Bay game. He had 2 catches for 28, but he got in that end zone for me. So that salvaged the day. And so outside of that era in Cleveland, if you look at his numbers, he is top 5. But he's not healthy, because now after you've had 2 ACL injuries, you're considered an unhealthy player. He's not healthy, and you just can't bank on it. So I can't put him in my top 5 just because he's not healthy alone.
No, I couldn't either. But let's talk about Atlanta Hawks, because we were told earlier today they're not a top 5 roster in the East. And I'm not willing to say they're not a top 5 roster in the East today, but we're just getting started here, baby. DeJounte Murray comes to the Hawks. We gave up 3 draft picks, a pick swap, 3 first rounders, a pick swap, and our 6-man Danilo Gallinari. We retained Kevin Huerter. We retained John Collins.
You retained
Bogey. We keep what's my man's name? The backup center.
Onyeka Okongwu.
We keep Okongwu. And I'm like, come on, baby.
They won. They won a trade. They won that trade, and we don't even have to see what DeJounte Murray is. They won that trade.
And we're excited here because we go, whoa. Trey can play off the ball some now. We get to see spot up and shoot Trey. Now, Trey has not shown the ability, the desire to want to do that, but he also hasn't had a teammate who can
bring the ball up the court. Yeah, who can bring the ball up the court. I mean, he's going to be bringing the ball up the court. You're not playing Trey off ball with Lou Will. No offense to Lou Will, one of the best 6 men to ever do it. Atlanta man, we love him. But at 37, 36, however old Lou is, you're not playing off. He can't play off ball with that man bringing the ball up if they're in the game.
You can't have both
field defensively too to go
exactly. And Lou is a get a bucket guy. He's not let's set up the offense.
He's simply a spark to bring in the game, in which I have to imagine they probably won't bring him back, which is okay. Lou will get some work somewhere. Somebody will. He wasn't very healthy this year, but somebody will give him a shot. But I love the DeJounte Murray move, because of what you got, what you gave away to get him, But then B, we're talking about a guy that made the All NBA defensive team, second team. We're talking about he was a first-time All-Star this year. We're talking about the contract that you sent out in Gallo. And look, Gallo's up there too. He's old. And the Spurs, I have to imagine, are probably going to cut him too. Because the cap is not going to be, if you cut him, I think they say he's got 21.5 or something. And like they'll either way, they'll only have to have 5 in dead cap for just this year, which they're going to suck anyway. God.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize his cap hit was that big.
Yeah, well, because he's making $20 million.
Yeah, he's making 21.4.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Now, DeJounte Murray's making 16-something this year.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. And you got 2 years of control, which really 1 year, because we know that after this season, they're going to have to extend them. They're going to extend them, which is fine. I don't know what type of Superman if they're going to get. I have to imagine he's going to get a $200 million contract. It's crazy as that sounds.
You know who his agent is?
Clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is good for the Hawks in a weird way. Because now they can start –
street clothes.
So that's
street clothes.
If the Lakers really want to kind of blow this thing up a little, I don't see why Travis Slink or Landry Fields doesn't, do one of these. Hey, how's it going? What's y'all's plan for this year? Because we know that with this core and an aging LeBron, it's not likely that you guys win a title. And so what are y'all thinking? I mean, what are you doing? I'm just curious. I get it. Y'all want to offload Russ. Yeah. Fuck all that. Nobody wants that. And so, you guys might get lucky at All-Star break if you're 500 and somebody is okay with taking on Russ's contract just to move a couple numbers off their books. But what are y'all thinking about AD, huh? I would do it. I would love to see if you trade Collins, Capella. I don't know if that would work money-wise, but either way, Collins, Herter, Bogey. You don't really have any picks to trade. They still have their 2023 first-round pick. Throw that in there because the Lakers don't have any, I imagine. Yeah. Throw that in there. Just give us AD. And maybe you can even give us a contract you don't want on that.
Yeah, we'll take a bad contract.
Yeah. It'd be sexy.
But here's
the potential would be there. The potential would for legitimately, pending AD's health, the potential to be a legitimate threat for the NBA title will be there.
So here's what this trade does. It does two things. For one, it on the basketball side of the house, it gives us a guard who can also run our offense to pull Trey off the ball. And for one, Trey needs more time off the ball because if you want to win, you don't need somebody who's that ball dominant. But also, it changes the way we can run our offense.
That was a shot you just took.
Absolutely,
I know.
But another thing it does is this guy is 6'4", 6'10" wingspan, so we get to hide Trey on defense a lot better than we did. But to the rest of the league, away from the on the court basketball thing. It says Travis Slink is serious about his job and he's trying to build a winner down here in Atlanta. Or let me sound like a national guy. We're trying to build a winner down here in hot Atlanta. And veterans who are looking for the vet minimum, that next guy who wants to be the missing piece, come on to Atlanta, baby. Like it's a major move. It's putting the league on notice.
It's saying, hey man, what the Hawks did 2 years ago, they honestly weren't satisfied.
Exactly.
And this past year, they were disappointed too. Even though they fought and clawed their way in, at one point lost 14 straight games at home. No, it wasn't 14. I think it was 10. It was double digit. They lost double-digit amount of games at home in a row, and they still managed to make the playoffs and were competitive.
Kicked their ass.
They were competitive in 2 out of the 5 games. Maybe even 3, really.
We won more games in the playoffs than the Nets, and they're
they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, yeah. And Steve Nash on the sideline. So 2-time MVP Steve Nash.
You heard what Kyrie said, hey, show me Kobe's MVP trophy.
Right. Hey, and that's why once we get into that combo, exactly why I said what I said about the Lakers at that time. But Even though those weren't the Kobe MVPs on those teams. But,
those were
but one of those was Kobe's award, in my opinion. Like, I don't see how he didn't get it, but not here nor there. Either way, Hawks building a team that the city can get behind. Really, Atlanta United's not doing what they were doing when they started. We know where the Falcons are at the start of the rebuild, and the Braves are coming off a championship, so we know they're contenders. But not everybody wants to go to Cobb. Maybe there are people that just want to be downtown and go see a great product.
Absolutely, man. And I'm excited because this is the first time in our sports watching life that Atlanta is bringing in all-stars, young all-stars that people can believe in.
Exactly. And basketball-wise, they're just excellent fits. He's an excellent fit for this team.
Because you go back to the Joe Johnson years, the Al Horford years, those guys were all-stars. But we didn't believe in them.
That and then you got to look at how you got Joe Johnson. For all intents and purposes, good thing it worked out. You overpaid for a six-man.
And Phoenix, it was like $6 million that Phoenix wouldn't pay him. So we maxed him out. He was like, I would have went to Phoenix for like this, but they didn't give it to me.
Right.
And I mean, it worked out better for his career. He got to be ISO Joe, highest paid player in the league for a while.
I think the Hawks retired Joe Johnson's jersey.
I mean, he's the best player. Well, behind Al Horford.
Best player since but I would even say Al might have been more important in terms of the long-term success of the Hawks, but I would say that he's been, and obviously Trey maybe now, of course, but like we need just a little for him to do a little bit more. But he'll definitely be the best Hawk that we've had since 2000. The post-Dominique, Joe Johnson's been the best Hawk. Career-wise, for their career in Atlanta, Trey is already basically there, but I'm just saying he's got to give me a little bit more time.
You know, I want to say Joe Johnson from just watching it, but
he's big. Joe used to be clutch too.
I know, but I just know Al Horford. Al Horford is like the guy that's easy to forget. That's good.
They probably had the same amount of all-stars while they were here.
Nah, shit. Joe got
Joe
7
Johnson had like 5 of them.
Joe has 7 all-stars, and most of them were in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 5 of them were here. Let's see.
He has 1 All-NBA.
05 to 12. Yeah, 6 of them were here.
Yeah.
1 All-NBA third team. I mean, you got to retire Joe's number for the 7 years he gave.
I didn't realize Joe was that big, Paul. 6'7", 240.
Joe, you know what's so wild? And people used to always be like, the quietest superstar in the NBA. He was never a superstar. I don't care what anyone says about that. He's an all-star. That's what he was, and a very good player. Joe was the type of guy that would have fit. His game, funny enough, would translate very well today in the NBA. A player of him, because Joe could shoot threes too. People don't remember how good of it. Joe Johnson was a good three-point shooter.
Right, he was a shooter for Phoenix. He wasn't ISO Joe for Phoenix.
He could shoot. Joe Johnson had his game, like his game itself, was that was what was underrated, his game. Joe Johnson was a really good player. And that's why he got paid great money.
Yeah.
Similar to the next guy we're about to talk about.
Who you got?
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Goobers.
You know what? I like that because Joe Johnson, much like Rudy Gobert, that re-sign, that second deal was nobody wants to come here, so we got to keep you here. And now you go ahead and talk. 'Cause I'm gonna pull up the quote. I want to get it from Shaq's mouth, Pauls.
That's exactly why Atlanta paid Al Horford. The Hawks, I've never seen the Hawks. Who's the biggest free agent the Hawks have signed? Any name can ring a bell for you.
Did we sign Sharif or did we trade for him?
We traded for him. Yeah.
Ogie?
Really tough, huh? And he was a sign and trade himself. No, he was a restricted free agent. So Sacramento just didn't want to match.
Well, they kind of got
biggest free agent signing the Hawks have had. Because even Dominique Wilkins wasn't. They traded for him on draft day. Biggest free agent the Hawks have ever signed was Dwight Howard. He is. And Dwight was not over the hill yet.
No, it just didn't work in
That's what
Atlanta.
we got him when he coming off the Rockets.
Yeah.
So we got an all-star. Dwight Howard was an all-star the year before he came here. And they wanted to pair him with Al, but then Al said that the Atlanta fans sucked. Peace out. I'm going to Boston.
Yeah, Al, your jersey doesn't get retired. Let's listen to what Shaq had to say about Rudy Gobert.
Oh, Rudy Gobert?
We have unwritten rules in our little thing. That's right. Let me tell you something. You think I'm happy Rudy Gobert is making $250? It may sound petty, but so yeah.
Well, he's averaging
KD,
12 points a game. That's wild.
That's my point. So KD, you're absolutely right. We are mad because the way we played, we didn't get that. You know, you got these shooters shooting for 22%, making 30 minutes. D. Scott shot damn near 45, 50% his whole career. Most he made was probably $7 million. So, yeah, we get mad. You goddamn right we get mad. We get petty. And guess what? We have an opinion. And our opinion counts. So I think sometimes when these guys respond, I think it's a little bit of truth in our criticism. That's all. So,
all right, for one, D. Scott's 3-point percentage for his career is 39.7. So stop it, Shaq. Shaq has an issue with Rudy Gobert making what he makes. And if we put Shaq and Rudy Gobert in the same league and Shaq gets his same contracts and Rudy Gobert gets his same contract, Shaq has a point. But Shaq and Rudy play in different leagues. And you're upset that Rudy, who's a one-dimensional big man who has little to no offensive game at all, made more money than you. For one, you're a hater. You're pocket watching, and you're not even properly contextualizing why he's making more money than you. If you say that if I run the Jazz, I'm not paying Rudy Gobert that much money, I go, okay, that makes sense because we're talking about a salary cap league. So it's not about the money going into his pockets. It's about spending money on the services that he provides. And we need more services for the amount spent, right? The difference between great value sugar and domino sugar is the price per fucking ounce, not the actual quality of sugar, I promise you. So same, boss. But for him to say that, we get mad about that because we didn't get paid that much and we were this and we were that, bro. The league didn't make as much money back then as it does now. The salary cap wasn't what it was then as it is now. So therefore, the contracts are different. And if you got an issue with another man getting to some money, you're a hater. But guess what? That's who Shaq is. Don't get me wrong. Shaq, one of the greatest players ever. One of the best players I've ever seen in my life. Many say the most dominant big man to ever play the game. I give him all of that. But if you listen to his analysis, it's similar to what he's saying right here. It's half-baked, and it's only viewed through his prism of life in basketball. And guess what? Rudy qualified for a Supermax. He played in a market where nobody wants to go because the fans are considered fucking racist. And they're like, you know what? We're competitive. We were just a 1 seed when they gave him the contract. You know what? Run it. You got it. You earned it. We don't want to piss you off. So here's your Supermax. And that's what it is. He ain't talking about Russell Westbrook making almost $50 million and his team don't even want him. You pick on the big man. You know, when you're a big man, you just pass it to the big man. He's supposed to catch it 28-17, easy, every night. Shaq, that's not how basketball works. If you've ever, I'm going to let you go, Parlay Pete, but if you ever listen to Charles Barkley talk about Shaq's analysis, he'll tell you, and people pick on Chuck for his bad analysis, but Chuck could be like, Shaq just think everybody just can wake up and just go play basketball. Like, there's not strategy to it. Like, you don't pick up on people's tendencies and stuff like that. Everybody ain't you, Shaq. Everybody ain't 7 foot, 300 pounds and athletic. Some of us have to think the game and strategize how we're going to get our points and stop people. And that's more of what Shaq is. His analysis is just like his game. It's kind of one-dimensional. I see it through my prism, and that's it.
Rudy Gobert has been a starter on the Utah Jazz since their 2014-2015 season.
Okay.
He has made 4 All-NBA teams. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's a 3-time defensive player of the year, and he's a 6-time all-defensive first team player, and he's also led the league in rebounding and blocks. He got paid because on paper, that's undeniable, whether his strong suit is the other side of the ball or not. At the end of the day, that's why he got paid. And in today's NBA, as you kind of already so eloquently put, that's the market. This is today's league. The league has more money. They're, are getting paid more. Inflation comes into play too to go along with it. There are a lot of factors in why Rudy Gobert got a $250 million contract. Not because in reality he is worth it, but because that's what the market dictates. And the market dictates that Rudy Gobert is certainly the best defensive big, and I'm not even going to say center, big in the NBA. And his accolades prove, too, that he's one of the best players at his position, period. Regardless of what he does offensively, either that defense is outweighing it, or he might even be leading the league in field goal percentage or something like that, because he probably doesn't shoot as many shots as he should, and he's still – I checked it earlier. He averaged 15 and 15 this past season. Not great. No, I think Clint Capella was averaging 13 and 14 last year for the Hawks. But he also isn't as good defensively. And Clint Capella makes $20 million a year. So why wouldn't the Jazz pay him, 37 and a half or whatever that number is on that contract that he signed? I guess I just look at it from the perspective of, I'm with you, Shaq. I really am. I'm with you. I don't get how he's got a contract that was greater than Kobe's, but I also know that business-wise,
you get it.
The market is telling it is.
You get it because you understand that that's the price of doing business today. And what got lost in our group text conversation is I don't think that Rudy Gobert is worth that much to a championship team.
He isn't, and we got to look at it this way. Kind of like I said at the end of the season after they lost to Dallas, where Luka didn't play half the series.
Yeah, because of Jalen Brunson, baby.
You're a big belief that the same reason why they did give him that contract is that the Jazz are going to run this thing back. They need to blow that bullshit up, and I've been very vocal about this. They need to blow that bullshit up so fast. But my point in saying that is just that they would probably prefer to keep Donovan over Rudy and build around Donovan as opposed to Rudy. It's going to be hard to build around Rudy because of his offensive limit, how limited. And
it's Utah.
And it's Utah, right. Now, that's why they let Dwayne Wade on the ownership team, too. They're hoping that they can use him, similarly in a weird way to the way the Nets use Jay-Z to kind of galvanize it to the point of where – because think about it. Now, granted, they got all those guys through trade, but then as soon as Jay-Z gets there, they move, they get black jerseys and shit. Now Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Brooke Lopez, and Darren Williams on the same team. Joe Johnson gets at that's the team that they trot out there.
It's the rock.
But I guess all in all, I just believe that with Rudy, it's one of those things where we've got to just take a step back, breathe a little, and realize, too, that there's value for a player of his caliber in the NBA to that extent. And that is why, like I said, if they're moving on from him, there are plenty of teams that are interested. The Hawks have been in talks. I think he's going to Chicago. If he is traded, I believe that the Bulls are going to trade and get him and move Vooch there, which Vooch would fit a little bit better with Utah, too. He's going to get those reps. He's going to score. And it might be a better fit for the Jazz to have a guy like Vooch.
Absolutely. Really, but here's the thing.
And he's white.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Or whatever he is.
The top of the line players of today make more money than the top of the line players of yesterday did. And that will always happen. It will always happen. It will always happen, okay?
All the point guards you had in the top 10 make more money than Kobe Bryant did in his final season. And Kobe's last season was 2015.
Exactly.
And Kobe was overpaid then.
Because
he wasn't overpaid. They paid him for what he had already done.
Overpaid. Because we don't pay. We don't. No.
He was hurt. It's Kobe, man.
I know you have to do it. You have to do it. But part of that is important, man. You talk about the Lakers when they overpaid Kobe because he was not giving them that much production towards winning. His percentage of the cap was not equaling his a percentage towards winning or a seat so that you want because they're the Lakers. They sell out every night. But you pay it to him because it's like, hey, he's our guy. We're gonna show our guy love. Utah has to show teams that they take care of their players so that people will want to come to Utah. Got breaking news?
Not breaking, but you heard it here first type news. I was just in curiosity. I don't know what made me bring up. I knew that Michael Jordan's last contract with the Bulls was 3 years, $99 million for that three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up because I was curious. I was like, nobody ever talks about Michael Jordan's Wizard contract. What did Michael Jordan get made? What did he make for the Wizards? Interesting thing to just randomly think about. So I'm looking it up. You know how much money Michael Jordan, because technically he was kind of part owner of the Wizards and president of that. He was like a lot for them. You know how much money Michael Jordan practically paid himself?
How much?
He paid himself. His salary was $1 million both seasons.
Well, he worked in the front office and he sold shoes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good for him. Love of the game.
But can you believe that there's no NBA player that would do that?
You know what? I think
when LeBron's contract expires, he won't sign for $1 million, even if let's say LeBron's averaging seriously at the in 2 years or something. Let's say LeBron is still giving you 27 and 6. I bet money LeBron James still doesn't sign for $1 million.
I think
he's a billionaire.
I think LeBron might sign for league minimum.
Yeah, if it means playing with his son, and that's the only way it works.
If it means playing for his son, if it means getting to 6 or 7, I think he'll sign for the vet minimum. But as we close out the Shaq versus Rudy thing, nobody thinks that Rudy Gobert is a better center than Shaq. And when you're the old guard and you're getting mad at the young guard for getting paid, and think about Shaq's interview with Donovan Mitchell. You say you're one of these guys. You got to play like one of these guys, and you're not doing it right now. Bro, what did you just say to me? You didn't even ask a question. You just said that, like, okay, you can criticize me. That's fine, but, like, what are we doing here? Shaq is just an old hater. Like anytime he and Chuck are having a conversation, and Chuck's talking about, hey, it's the playoffs. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to think about this. You got to think about that. Because believe it or not, Chuck does provide more analysis than he gets credit for because he's just so funny. Everybody latches on to the funny stuff, but Chuck gives pretty good analysis. I mean, even the analysis that we just can throw out the window, it's backed in something that actually makes sense. I listen to a lot of Chuck. Then Shaq could be like, Chuck, you never won these rings. You don't know. Like, bruh. MVP.
That's more entertainment, though. Come on. Yes, he's being for real, but he isn't.
But
like,
if you ever
entertainment value at that point.
If you listen to Chuck, but if you listen to Chuck talk about it in other interviews, he'll say, "I know when Shaq brings up rings, he's mad because I'll make a point that he can't respond to, so he just brings up the rings thing."
And then, right, he basically validates my point of view is better than yours because I've accomplished everything in the NBA and you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And
I've won an MVP just like you. I've been in many All-Star games just like you. I'm one of the top scorers in NBA history just like you. And you don't have anything for the reason why we play the game, basically, to a degree. You don't have anything to show for it, but I do. And I have it 4 times over.
Exactly. And it's crazy that, it seems like Draymond is taking a page out of Shaq's book because we got the new media.
He's TNT's intern. Really, Draymond is a great example of a combination of Shaq and Charles together.
He is.
If they had a love child for the media, I think he's a great in the new school version of it. Because now Draymond's an elder statesman in the league, of course.
He got gray in his beard.
Yeah, he's an elder statesman in the league, and he's the type of guy. Draymond's the type of guy I can see retiring in 3 years, to where he doesn't even play as long as he maybe could play, just because he's like, man, y'all, if y'all gonna pay me $15, $20 million to fucking be at TNT, sign me up. I mean,
and Cowherd's, Cow's giving him the bag. He wouldn't be doing the pods the way he's doing it for nothing.
That too.
So the thing is, let's talk about the new media, okay? Because Draymond has really like coined this new phrase, the new media, and it's talking about. Honestly, it seems like it's athlete-led media, which I don't have an issue with athlete-led media. Excuse me. I don't have an issue with athletes being part of the media. I don't have an issue with athletes being a strong part of the media. But athletes have to understand that their point of view is not the only point of view of what they do. You know, like an athlete can give me X's and O's all day of why this works, that works. And I would tell you, yeah, that's why we don't watch the WNBA. Great basketball, X's and O's, not a good TV product.
It's not entertaining.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you'll go, you don't understand it, you don't understand. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I pay to watch this, and I want to enjoy what I pay for. So I don't like that right there.
And not to get away from the new media topic, but let's just look at this seriously from our world's point of view. And it's not just a man's world type of thing. It's a women as well. What do men and women like to see women doing?
What do men like to see women doing? Men
and women. And I'm talking about combined.
What do men and women like to see women doing?
Yeah.
Sexual shit. No. Let's go here.
Yeah,
because
that's why I said what I said, because that's why the WNBA isn't entertaining. It's not because it's not a good product in terms of
basketball.
Like you said, the actual production of the play, like, and how good they are. It's because nobody, when they think of a woman, they're like, man, I really want to see them playing basketball. No, you want to see them fucking half naked. And that's why strip clubs make so much. That's why Magic City here, 0.3 miles maybe from my house right now. That's why that parking lot is filled every night, because everybody, men and women alike, women that aren't gay, want to see that fat ass jiggle.
Right. And it's not taking away from the women basketball players, because that's not what we're trying to do. You can clip this and make it sound misogynistic, but let's speak to what society really cares about. Because I was watching a WNBA game last night, sitting in Applebee's. It was the only thing on TV. And I watched the possession. And I watched so much cutting, replacing, missed shot, offensive rebound. Chick comes from the block all the way to the top of the key, catches wide open three. I go, God, that's some great basketball right there. But they're not dunking.
You know, that's why the only celebrities that you notice that care about and support the WNBA are typically NBA players, because it's just like when they were in high school and they had to watch the girls play before them. They're hoopers. They fucking like basketball like that.
Yes.
To where they can take something away. That's why, and then somebody like Kobe, who has daughters and a daughter that's interested, he's able to be, because he's a fucking gym rat. Like it doesn't matter. He can take some shit away from some 6-year-olds playing, I would imagine. Boys and girls on the same team. That he just like basketball like that.
Exactly.
Hoop head. Because he's a hooper.
And I tell people, Wayne, about like my thing with the WNBA. I go, I don't consume the WNBA because I consume too much stuff, and I don't have time to consume stuff that I don't pod about. That doesn't entertain me. Now, if I'm getting paid to break down WNBA, I will, because it's not bad basketball. I don't want anybody to think I think it's lesser basketball.
Look,
it's not as good of a TV show. Like, you know what? Seinfeld, The Office, Martin, Jamie Foxx. That's great TV. It's going to be on TV forever.
And then remember, and this is why strategically give the WNBA credit. This is why they play in the summer, because at least for the most part, they're not having to compete with the NBA.
There's no competition.
Well, but here's the thing. In terms of for eyeballs, it is a competitor. And more importantly, the networks know, yes, more motherfuckers are going to want to watch this nigga play. They're going to want to watch the Houston Rockets play the Detroit Pistons instead of watching the Las Vegas Aces play the Connecticut Sun. And those are like two of the top teams in the WNBA. If you didn't know, for those that are listening, those are some of the best teams in the WNBA. More people are going to have their eyeballs glued to that. And that's why this is the deadest point in sports And that's why ESPN and all these other places, FS1, they've got to come up with these bullshit topics every day and regurgitate stuff they talked about a couple months ago and wrap it in a new package because there's not much to talk about now. And that's why the WNBA plays now, because they're hoping, well, there's nothing else on. Why not give us a try?
Nope.
And
No one wants to talk.
in a weird way, Brittany Griner going to being in jail and getting another 6 months today, by the way, I would imagine that there might be some people that have tuned in a weird way, maybe. But for the most part, I'm looking at the Braves games on my screen right now. Doesn't look like a sellout, but why wouldn't more people want to watch the best baseball players in the world play each other as opposed to the best women in the world play basketball? And like I said, this is Braves, Phillies, and Philly. If they see 50,000 people, and that might be giving them a lot, 50,000 people can fit into this baseball field.
I got something for you.
Might be 35,000 in there.
Question for you. On their best night, who generate? Fuck that. Over a year, who generates more money? The Atlanta Dream or Magic City?
Magic City.
And getting back to that conversation of where people rather see women, this is not me saying this is the only place that women need to be. I want to preface it that way. This is me looking at society and saying, hey, the people have spoken. Look, Liz Cambridge wanted to go to OnlyFans. She went to OnlyFans. I promise you, if she was on a Supermax like LeBron or Russ, she would
have never given a thought.
Her OnlyFans would be the one sitting at the game, not on the internet.
Who watches daytime television, Lee?
Women.
Who is the most popular daytime talk show host of all time?
Oprah.
Okay. Steve Harvey's was pretty successful. He's not even on TV anymore with that. You know, he does Wheel of Fortune and stuff. But, okay, Dr. Phil. We'll go with somebody that is on TV.
Okay, one of Oprah's sons.
Right, and they're right. Even more importantly, that's somebody that Oprah threw the ball to. She threw the bag to him. Women watch that, and that's why a woman is the top person in that field, typically. In really a lot of reporting, there are good guys too, right? Like, you know, there are good guys.
Nick Cannon got canceled, but Wendy Williams lasted for a lifetime, baby. Come on now. Ellen.
And even men-wise, are men looking to go and watch, if they are even watching daytime television, are they really trying to hear what some niggas got to say to them? No. They would rather hear it from that woman's mouth. And just the same way, anyone that's watching sports, no offense to women, nobody is really trying to tune into some girls playing basketball. And that's almost any sport. That's why there isn't if there isn't one we don't know about, there isn't a professional softball league that's on national TV. That's why the MLB is the only shit that's on. There isn't a soccer one. There isn't a football one. Do you have the WNBA? The most popular shit for women's sports is tennis, and that's an individual sport.
Hey, do that again. The most popular thing for women's sports is tennis.
And I would argue, in some cases, as crazy as it sounds, more people tune into Serena than they would Novak Djokovic or Roger Federer or Nadal. Honestly,
probably.
I believe it. I'd believe it. I think that Serena is the most famous soccer tennis player ever.
Well, let's follow the money, right? Let's follow the money. In college sports, most schools that have teams that actually produce in the fucking black football program, men's basketball, and top end women's basketball. That's it. Everybody else, you're getting carried by your football team and your basketball team.
Because as crazy as it sounds, even at UConn, think
about Spelman. Think about what happened at Spelman while we were there. They folded their D3 athletic program because they said, you know what? We are tired of spending money on this. We're going to build a multi-million-dollar gym megaplex for our students to go get in shape because we're tired of watching Spelman play against Reinhardt or Berry College. We're wasting money on this. That's what Spelman said.
Did you ever go to a game?
Oh, I went to a few, and they were free.
Was it good? Was it? I mean,
no.
Was it good?
No. It was
But
fun.
you were there more for what was in the stands than what was on the court.
Actually, no, I was there for what was on the court.
Shut the fuck up.
Bro, you remember I got a jersey? Bro. Huh?
I said I never even heard about a Spelman basketball game.
Well, I went to see who was on the court at one point. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't there for.
You know what? Because probably, well, there's studs and stuff too at Spelman. So like, point being, you had a better chance of having a better time in the stands.
Oh yeah,
paying attention to the game than going to the game to watch the game.
I'm gonna see if Moink will answer the phone. I know he's not going to because he never answers the phone.
You think he's cuddling with his wife?
Probably
watching a Netflix show, or maybe he's working still.
Who knows? He was supposed to call me this weekend and he didn't.
Yeah, you're a real penis, pal. You know that?
Come on, bro. I only need like 3 minutes too. That's the worst part. Pause. I'm studying. Cause see, I'm gonna text him like, hey, I need 3 minutes.
3 minutes, please.
Talk Spelman basketball.
You know what's funny? He literally just sent a message about 14 minutes ago in the group.
All right, I got another one who I went to a Spelman game with. I'll call Eric Boyd. Let's see if he answers.
He's in Detroit now, right?
I don't know where he's at right now. No, he's in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, you're on the pod. Are you out and about?
Yeah. What's up?
I just wanted you to give Pierce here some insight on Spelman basketball and those games we went to. Again, you are on the pod.
On which game?
Spelman basketball.
Oh man, it wasn't great.
I think that really says a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you think they made the right decision by folding the program?
Yes, 100%.
All right, thanks, Eric. Get back to having fun, man.
No worries.
All right, dog.
Thanks. Later.
Yep.
Later.
I like it quick and to the point. Like I said, I'm not surprised. I never went to one, but like I said, in the larger picture, that's why the WNBA isn't popular either.
I mean, you can go as simple as high school, man. The girls played at 6, the guys played at 7:30. What time did everybody show up? They showed up around 6:45.
6:45. Yeah, exactly.
You want to get a good seat because you can still, but you didn't. You know what I mean? You catch second half of the girls' game.
Well, and let me tell you, especially when the boys are fucking good. Like, I mean,
right.
we were good. We were always really good. And so our games, like, and we had a smaller gym. Like, I think it was maybe, we didn't have one of those gyms where it was stacked up, 30, 40 bleacher seats or anything like that.
Those gyms are trash for high school, bro. Make it small and hot.
That's exactly what ours were. And because my senior year, at least, we were a top 10, top 15 team in the state overall. We were, of course, the number one team in our region and the number one team in our in GISA AAA. Like we were the. I mean, that's why we won state. We were the best team, and so like those games, our games, we never, even when we were on the road, all our games were sold out. I never played in front of a group of nobody. Everybody was that gym. Any gym we went into was always sold out. So
we're saying all that to say that, look, women in the WNBA, you all play basketball at very high level. Like I'm more than confident Skylar Diggins would like take my lunch right now. But when it comes to the TV and the entertainment product, that's what suffers. And when you talk about the new media and what I think sometimes the players miss, especially Draymond going on his fuck you tour with everybody, is part of what makes you so much money is that these people talk about you every day. And some of the stuff they say is stupid. Some of the stuff they say is insensitive. Like, Skip Bayless has been getting beat up, and deservedly so, because Skip Bayless be disrespecting grown-ass men, and then they'll check him, and he'll be like, come on my show, and I'll talk to you. No. Like, hit my DMs. Let's meet at this restaurant in L.A. with no cameras. You know what I mean? In this back room. Let's meet at this gym and put some boxing gloves on. For Skip, it's all about the clout. It's all about the content. And at some point, you have to draw a line. You can't be a slave to the content. And Draymond's been beating up on Perk because he thinks that Perk is a slave for the content because he called him a coon. And had Draymond not called Perk a coon, this wouldn't even be a topic. But as a black man, to another black man, you call a nigga a coon, bro. To me, that's worse than a white man calling a black man a nigga. Because when you calling somebody a coon as a black person, you are saying you're one of us.
And I consider
you're not us. I can't fuck with you. It's one thing to be like, hey, I'm gonna call you a nigga because you ain't us. You'll never be us. You ain't welcome.
Or fuck you, like we're not friends. We don't know each other. You're a random person, and I strongly disagree with what you're talking about. But nah, bro, you not even us. Like you not even us. Like I completely disregard you as a person, as a black person.
Like I talked about how a lot of people got space in my head, right? A lot of people got space up here. They live rent free. Somebody called me a coon, bro. You go ahead and build a condo up here. You can go ahead and build a mansion up here. You're never leaving.
And what makes it even sicker between them is more so along the lines of why, like, they're in a fraternity for what it's worth. That's a fraternity. There's only been but so many guys that have ever played in the NBA. There's very few people that have been selected to be a part of, and we're talking about a game that's existed since the late 1800s, and that's been a league since what, the 40s?
75th year. This is 75th year this year, so 2022
40s.
minus 75.
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing that math.
40s, since the 40s. And so even back then to today, only 60 niggas get drafted a year, right?
Bro.
There's 30 and there's two.
And a black man. And you know I'm a huge Cowherd fan.
Two guys that had success in the league. Obviously, Dre's had way more success than Perk, but both are champions. To go along with that. So now it ain't even, yeah, he's got more rings, but Perk's got a ring. And Perk played on some successful Thunder teams. But
a black man going on a white man's network and calling another black man a coon, and then the other black man responding, taking his response down because he works for ESPN, the mothership, ABC, Disney. That don't sit right with me. And I'm sure you were taught you don't act up in front of company, because when you act up in front of company, you get in more trouble. I'm sure you and Justice could fight on a random Tuesday. Hey, separate. Stop. Whatever, you know. Parents got friends over. You and Justice get to fighting downstairs. That punishment hit a little bit different.
Oh, that's my ass, baby.
Exactly. You might get embarrassed. You might get embarrassed in front of company, get a whooping for some shit that would normally just get you a stern talking to and hey, go to your room. Y'all separate or whatever. You know what I mean?
No, that's that ass is what it is. And so
that's what they did. They acted up in front of company.
But Drake, it wasn't like they were together. It wasn't like they were in the same room.
Come on. They both are close to LeBron. That if they don't have each other's phone number, they have somebody who has the other person's phone number. I don't want to hear that.
Them directly.
Like if Dre, if you feel like you're gonna call this man a coon, for one, you can edit your shit before you put it out. But if you feel like you're gonna call that man a coon, hey Brian, what's Perk number? I need to talk to him about something.
But that's not what this is about, man. It's
about the media. It's about clout chasers. They like the 14-year-old on TikTok looking for the viral moment, but these niggas is 40.
And they're already successful and rich. And it's just like, it's a sad reality that our world has gotten to. And it happens on that level and on lower levels as well. I mean, people will do anything. Now, I'd say maybe more so on the level of a normal folk like me, that you can get on Instagram and you can see somebody indirectly talking to somebody, and the person that they're talking to knows that they're talking to them. And it isn't one of those, I'm not talking to anyone. This is a general statement. If the shoe fits, though, it's not one of those things. People put up stuff, they'll post stuff all the time and be talking to somebody, literally, instead of just calling them. And
bro, I do it sometimes. I do it on the podcast. Like, I ain't gonna lie. But if it gets to a certain point, last week, I said how somebody on our group text said some shit and they moved into my rent-free zone. Maybe I didn't tell you. I won't say it on the pod, but somebody in our group text moved to the rent-free zone.
Type it in the private chat and what's your, or you can tell me what you're alluding to on.
But we end up having a conversation Saturday night. Rent been paid. Nigga, move out. It was. We were talking about the Steph Curry conversation, top 10.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, but end up having a conversation over the phone. Everything changed, bro. You get to move out. But we talked it out.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. But
I think one time you and Justice had something like that as well, right?
So I pissed Justice off, and I don't know what I did.
I don't remember either, but I remember when you called him.
But like he was mad, and I'm like, "You the homie, bro? Like, hey, nigga, what's up? Like,
right?
Did I violate? Because if I violated, don't get me wrong, I know I'm a habitual line stepper. So I accept that going into a situation, bro. If I like violated you or I stepped over a line, bro, tell me what I did, and I'm gonna for one apologize. I was then try to contextualize what I did because Instagram will tell you, don't explain your apology, just be apology. Well, no, I want you to know where my brain was at, why I did what I did. You deserve that too. Right. Because don't accept sorry and then we move forward. No, let me tell you what the fuck I was thinking.
Well, we talked that shit out. You might not even really be sorry, but that's more of the explanation of why you're sorry.
Yeah.
And that, I didn't mean to do this, that, and the third. This is all I was saying. I just,
bro, like,
let me see where this miscommunication came about.
Bro, it's like you knocking off somebody, you knock off a girl that somebody hollering at, they talking to, and you and him cool, but he don't know. He don't know, and you don't know what both of y'all are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like me and one of my partners, the shit happened to was like he was hollering at a chick, I was hollering at the same chick, but I wouldn't tell nobody what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Mission, run it, boom. Hey, bro, I did that. Oh, for real? I was. And same shit happened to me. Like, and it's a super personal story. It was like, dude was hollering at a chick who I was hollering at on the low. Then, nothing really happened with them, but they was talking. I fell back, and I moved back in. I said, hey, bro, let me let you know, me and so-and-so been kicking it, like, heavy, and it's like, it's more than just, the bullshit.
Well,
you can't be mad at somebody for doing something that, you know what I mean? That like you don't know. Like, think about college, bro. How many girls were all of us around on a regular basis, but not around together? And then you think you going somewhere with somebody, and then you find out Matt done peeled her scat back in between the day you met her and then the day y'all supposed to kick it.
And you might have not even known, like, he might have not even known in a situation like that you were talking to it, like, or you wanted something out of that.
Right.
Because that's the most important part. Did you actually want something out of it, or were you just hitting? Or did you just want to hit, rather?
Exactly.
Like, that's it. And it gets into a lot of the stuff that we typically talk about here on this podcast. The context around it shapes how much it matters.
Exactly. Like, I ain't never trying to, again, I'm married, previous life. I ain't never trying to just fuck on somebody I'm cool with likes. If you like her,
I would never do it. Now, of course, if I find that out and let's say it was somebody I already hit, I'll let you know. I'm going to be like, hey, and this is for your own good because maybe she won't, if she's a decent lady, she might not want to fuck with you if she knows that we're friends and you're trying to do it. And that could be why either you're getting the runaround or maybe she's trying to use you for a couple of dinner dates and some other shit. Like, you would never know, even if I never said anything, because regardless of what women want to believe, men don't just always kiss and tell about shit that they've done either. It's not like it's something that you just like, oh, hey, by the way, guys, every time I have sex, I'm telling you that I had sex with somebody. No. Now, if a wild story comes about, sure, that stuff does come up. And guy talk, it's a part of it. It's just, as I'm sure it does with Women, you might have got your back blown out if you're a chick and just say like, man, I'm not even gonna lie, I got the best dick of my life.
But you don't put a name to it.
Right. And then you might not even put a name to it. So like,
bro, that's my life. You know what I mean? Like not putting names to stuff and telling stories. But then I can't be mad if somebody ends up having a similar story with a story I done told, but I didn't put a name to it. They didn't know the name. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna hit home. I think about in our friend circle, right? There is a woman who exists in our friend circle, and there's a guy who exists in our friend circle. And if you extract all the other guys in our friend circle who have hung out with this young lady, she and him would be a great fucking couple. And you know who I'm talking about.
yes.
And bro, I said it to his face, so I don't give a fuck about saying on the pod. He don't listen anyways. But it's one of those things where if what y'all built, if you felt that when you years ago.
You're saying that he said that directly to you?
No. I'm saying
if, okay.
I'm saying if that was said, I think everything goes differently.
It's also an issue on her end because she had to know, even if at the time, because all these we're talking early college too. We're talking not even senior year.
The whole thing wasn't early. It went into late, but it started early.
I'm saying
within before y'all were juniors, it was over with.
That's what I'm saying. That's early to me. So that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't like something that came out senior year or something, like these were things that you knew and that she knew and she knew. Now she might have not thought, for instance, with you maybe more. No, I'd actually say the weird part about that is that the people in the group that have been associated with her, they, in general, I could see how maybe she wouldn't look at them as necessarily the closest people
because
to him. If it was me or JT, that would be another thing. I think that she would, I'm saying from her perspective, she wouldn't think that would be a big deal to her to where she's just like, well, we know that this can't work.
And if you think about the forecast though, right? Nobody forecasted our group being what it is at late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. Nobody in 2014, you wouldn't have said, we've got a locker room.
We talk every day.
Yeah, we talk every day, and there's 10, 11 guys in there. 5 to 7 of them are vocal every day, like to where we will see, comment. We talk about stuff on a daily basis, even if it's not, over the phone or something like that, or there's communication every day.
No, like
5 to 7 out of the 11 people in the group every day.
Bro, if you told me that my closest friends from college would have been the locker room in 2013, I'd be like, hell no. Because
I would have really asked yourself, well, damn, what happened with the guy? Because
I didn't graduate with the locker room. That's like the thing that's different.
A majority of our group is 2015, right?
Exactly. I'm 2014.
We've got 3 people. No, we've got 2 people in the group that graduated after, 3 total, including you, in terms of people that weren't 2015. Yep. You're the only one before, and then there's 2 after.
Right. And one of them after makes total sense because it's your fucking brother.
Right. Exactly. And then the other one, I didn't meet him until my senior year.
He's barely our friend.
Everybody kept saying that from a friendship relation aspect, they're like, yo, you'd be really good. You and your brother would be really good friends with him. He reminds us more of you than anyone.
He's barely our friend. He and I are good friends separately from the locker room. But when it comes to like locker room,
literally. Y'all are the only two in the group with the same exact profession.
And he was my young boy too. And like, not to diminish him, like he's my young boy who's done far better than me, and I'm proud of him. Like, he's my young boy. Like, so our bond is totally different.
Yeah.
He should kick my ass for some shit I did to him back in the day. But man, look, let's talk about a couple opt-ins and opt-outs. Opt-outs first. James Harden opts out. These are quick hitters. Is he re-signing with Philly, or is he going to entertain the market?
I think somebody's going to want to entertain, but him and Daryl have too good of a connection. Never will happen.
I think he signs a less than max deal. He signs a less than max deal, but he gets some good cash.
I bet. You know, the Blazers offered Dame an extension today, apparently, according to Hoops Hype.
If it don't come from Chris Haynes, I don't want to hear it about Dame. Yeah,
but Hoop Hype is like, that's like the rumor mill, literally. If you type in NBA rumors, they're going to be the first website that comes up because it just does everyone. But the point is that 2 years, 100 for him. I don't think that Harden's going to get 50 a year on his extension, but I bet he signs a shorter one. Even at, I think he's probably 31. Even at 31, I bet he only signs a 2-year deal, two-year extension or something.
Philly's got to move Tobias.
And that was another thing that I saw on Hoops Hype, that is something that they have talked about. And I get it. You know why they got to move him, right?
Because they pay him too much money.
They pay him too much money, and they have to pay Tyrese Maxey too, eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Tyrese Maxey, if Jalen Brunson's getting what he's getting, Tyrese Maxey can command the same contract.
You're damn right.
So they got to pay him too, and you can't have 4 niggas on a team making over $100 million. That's just not the way. Either that or the luxury tax is going to be out the wazoo.
Here's what I want.
Cap.
I want Scottie Pippen to do a Shaq soundbite talking about Tobias Harris. That's what we need, because Tobias Harris might have a top 5 worst contract in NBA history.
Yeah.
Brad Beal also opted out. Do you think Brad Beal's going to – Woj said the Lakers are in play for Bradley Beal. They're trying to figure something out. Okay. Do you think Washington gives Brad Beal that supermax, or do they give him the Kemba treatment?
I think that Bradley Beal is going to listen to other people. That's what I think. I think that he's going to actually test the market, even if it's a short list of people that he'll allow to test the market. I don't think – and I think that because he's been so respectful to Washington over the years, that they would oblige in a sign and trade too, if that was the case. Because in reality, they know that they're not competing, and I know they made those minor moves with the Nuggets today. I like Monte Morris and I like Will Barton. I think that they're nice players. But even putting that together with KP –
those were Denver moves. That was Denver trying to shed cap.
They've already paid 3 guys themselves.
That put Denver below the luxury tax. That's what that move did. And I'm comfortable saying Will Barton did not want to continue playing Joker's style of basketball.
This will be good for his career statistically, going to a place like Washington. Certainly if Bradley Beal leaves, but even if Bradley Beal stays, it'll still be good for him.
Yo, why is Kroenke so cheap with the Nuggets, but he'll spend with the Rams?
He's got 2 championships, my man, between the last 4, because he owns the Colorado Avalanche too.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but he also has the back-to-back MVP on his team, and so well,
give him an opportunity to become a back-to-back champion. Stop being cheap.
Well, I'm just going to give him time regardless. I mean, he clearly has been building a winner both ways. Avalanche were the worst team in hockey 4 or 5 years ago.
Maybe letting his GM walk.
And here's the thing. You've been to Denver. Denver is – I like Denver. I love Denver. I think Denver is a great city. I have no bad words for Denver. I had a great time there. I think that with him being a 2-time MVP and the style of play that Jokic has, he will be – because he's not ball dominant necessarily.
His usage rate's high.
You're looking over the last 2 years too when he has one of these MVPs.
Hey, can you rock out while I go pee?
Yeah, where he didn't have superstar Jamal Murray. he didn't have superstar Jamal Murray. And so because he doesn't have superstar Jamal Murray, he doesn't have Porter Jr., he didn't have these guys. They still may do what they had, and they were a playoff team. And that's the most important part about this, being a competitive team. And because they were a competitive team, they'd have to free up that cap. But at the same time, like I said, from the owner's standpoint, he's going to want to add somebody with Jokic eventually. That's really what he wants to do. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Michael Porter Jr. was somebody they're banking on to be very good, which coming out of high school, he was. He just had that injury already where he played 2 games, I think, at Missouri. Now, with Jamal Murray, it's a different story. If Jamal Murray comes back and he's the same player that he was, I still believe somebody like Jamal Murray gets moved because they're going to want to pair somebody with Jokic. Right? I mean, we've got to really look at this. Nikola Jokic is a 2-time MVP. You're the owner of 2 championship franchises within the span of 5 months. Won 2 championships at the highest level in 2 of the big 4 sports. He's going to want to pair somebody with that. And because he's going to want to pair somebody with that, he's going to have to be able to move on from someone else. And that's what he's kind of waiting to do with a guy like superstar Jamal Murray. He's banking on the idea that Jamal Murray is going to be healthy this year and will play well enough, and he'll try and move the contract potentially, I believe. And from Kroenke's ownership standpoint, now he's got the basketball people doing the basketball thing, just like he gave Sean McVay and
Les Snead
control. I don't know anything about the hockey.
Hey, hold on. Aspect. Can we talk about Les Snead real quick?
We can.
I didn't realize until I was doing some homework on Les Snead that he was in our building for 10 years.
I knew that.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
And when he left, I get it.
And he built his reputation for being a Falcon. And really, obviously, post TD years, it's kind of crazy because he was basically the head scout, right?
Yeah, he was over player development, player personnel. He was everything that TD isn't.
Look at what the Falcons did too from those eras. They did what's weird about the Falcons? They have missed for sure on certain guys.
We could have had Kroenke. We could have had Les Snead and Kyle Shanahan running our fucking operation with Arthur's pockets.
Yes. And I just think that when I look at it this way, because now let me see. Hold on. I'm looking it up.
We're cursed.
I knew he had been there for a while.
He left in 12, I believe, to go to St. Louis.
I'm looking it up. Okay. He was a scout, pro scout from 97 to 09, and then was director of player personnel from 09 to 11. So let's just look at the talent the Falcons had from that time period. So obviously he was a younger scout when the Falcons first went to the Super Bowl in 98.
Yeah, don't care about that. I'm thinking Matt Ryan years. No, our most consistent years.
But I just look at even the team that was built post that Super Bowl. People may not remember just these Falcons teams because they were kind of irrelevant even with the Michael Vick years. But, man, Patrick Kearney.
Algernon.
Keith Brooking. These are Falcons guys that were drafted that were good for a solid period of time in the NFL. Keith Brooking was a really good middle linebacker, I thought. Because they used to build the team as Keith Brookins, the leader of the defense, Mike Vick's the leader of the offense.
Yeah, I remember.
They built Todd McClure. I look at our offensive line. Our offensive line, it's weird because people will say that it was bad because Vick was always running. But what it was we didn't have receivers that could get separation. And Michael Vick was going to run anyways, is the thing. And so,
you saw Vick with Deshaun Jackson.
You said what?
You saw Vick with Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. We saw when he had a speedy guy. They never really had a guy like that. Algie Crumpler, another guy. That would mean that Les Snead was probably a part of the scouting of getting a guy like Algie. Algie used to be the man here. Bigger, thick tight end with good hands. That was a great red zone target for Michael Vick.
Les Snead. If we keep Les Snead in the building instead of TD.
But they weren't going to get rid of him in 2012. Come on. They weren't firing Les Snead.
You mean, hold on, who was our GM in 2012? When did TD take over?
TD was 08. He's who was the GM when we drafted. His first draft was Matt Ryan.
You know what?
They weren't. That's the issue.
They weren't. They weren't. But
and because the Falcons had, like I said, doesn't remember because everybody doesn't follow Falcons. You know, like you said, the national guys in hot Atlanta. Falcons won 5 straight years. They went to the playoffs 4 out of 5 years in the first 5 years, but had 5 straight winning seasons. Never had back-to-back before that.
No, that's the problem.
Of course, from the Falcons organization, Dave Caldwell went to the Jaguars. The Falcons organization has been poached from. Mike Mularkey became a head coach again. Dirk Cutter. I mean, there's been Mike Smith gets another job. Dan Quinn was the hottest coach on the market.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, over that span of time, the Falcons have, regardless of what people want to believe, have had so much success for a franchise that just it doesn't exist. It's just like, man, they got something cooking there.
You know what, though? You know what? Here's the difference here's what the Falcons need, and I don't even know if this exists in NFL ownership. You need somebody who will fire Mark Jackson and hire Steve Kerr. Mark Jackson
did nothing to warrant him necessarily being fired.
Getting fired
on the court.
But you need you need to say, you know what, this guy isn't going to get us to where we need to go. And Thomas Dimitroff has not been rehired. That should tell you something. It should tell you something.
TD had a lot of hits, and his biggest hits were hits. But boy, did he have a lot of stinkers too.
Bro, I don't even care about his stinkers. I care about his cap management. We're still in cap hell because of TD.
Absolutely. That was a big.
And Les Snead.
He left the team in almost as bad a position as he found it.
And the guy who was his right hand is doing fucking cap gymnastics that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
If Les Snead was doing what he was doing and Thomas Dimitroff did what he did, it wouldn't bother me as much until I just did a Les Snead Google search one day. Because, hey, guys, I do research and I do homework, believe it or not. Jew, don't compare me to Cal Hurt. You know what? When you compare me to Cal Hurt, that was the ultimate compliment, by the way. But anyways, I'm just doing random homework. And I go, hold on, we had Les Snead in our office for 10 years? That means he wanted to be our GM at one point in time. He wanted to be the Falcons GM. I mean, now you can't buy him from Kroenke for a rate that Arthur wants to pay, but you go, fuck. The way this guy does the cap, I'd pay him $30 million. If you're Arthur, would you pay Les Snead $30 fucking million to fucking send Terry back to New Orleans?
Would you pay Terry 30?
No, would you pay Les Snead 30 to come back to Atlanta and send Terry packing? Huh?
30 a year?
Yeah.
No. Because Les Snead did a good job of drafting and has done a good job of drafting in LA. And I guess even at the time when he got hired, they were St. Louis. He's done a good job, obviously. I mean, Aaron Donald was, the 13th or 14th pick, and he's arguably the best defensive player. He's certainly the best defensive player of this generation. And the previous.
I'm not even talking about drafting. I'm talking about the way he works the cap.
Oh, yeah. Well, duh. You look at that. Isn't it, like you said, he does cap gymnastics. I mean, you would think we're playing on Madden and it's franchise mode. The cap's turned off the way that this man is turning and burning players of high quality and getting them in the building. And
then drafting third rounders the right way. And that's why I say maybe 30 is too much. But, like, making him the highest paid GM plus some to poach him because you got to pay extra to poach him. It's like, would I do that? Yes.
You know, they said that this was the rumor. It was on Pro Football Talk. Mike Florio said it. But I look at even just a coach, right? Gruden got 10 years, 100. They were saying that the Dolphins, when they were trying to get Brady and Sean Payton, that they were willing to give him a 5-year 100 to Sean Payton.
Yeah, Payton was going to get 100.
Yeah, and then, of course, the Saints weren't just going to – because he's still in contract. They were probably going to have to give them probably a second-round pick and maybe a future third or fourth, too. Maybe even a future first or so. I don't know. But
Belichick's contract, nobody knows Belichick's contract, but it's closer to 20 than it is to 10.
I would say so because he's the GM, too.
And I want to say, Steve, I want to say that, what's my man? Pete Carroll's getting something close to 20 as well. Because those contracts got leaked. Let me see if I can pull it up. Got my laptop right here. Bro, we just can't do a basketball podcast. This is not a basketball podcast. We talk about basketball because we have to, not because we want to. Like, we had all these other basketball topics. Let me see. No. I don't want to see that. How much is Pete Carroll making? Let's see. No. I mean, this shit leaked and I forgot. But anyways, I'm not gonna keep looking for it. Do you want to do our best and worst champions? We're at an hour 20. I feel like we can
squeeze this in for 5 to 10 minutes. I don't see why not.
You know, this is not gonna be 5 to 10 minutes.
It can be. We can keep it short and sweet.
Because we still gotta hit Sha'Carri. We have to hit Sha'Carri.
Let's do this. Let's name our top 4 from the 2000-2001 season to the 2021-2022 season.
All right, top 4. You go first.
Final 4. Oh, okay.
You go first.
All right. Just because now this is a little bit of a thing, but let me go with obviously that 17-18 Warriors team. Let's throw them as the number 1 seed just because there's potentially, keyword guys, potentially 4 Hall of Fame players on that
Could
team.
be 5. You tried to put Iggy in the Hall of Fame last week.
Not me.
You did last week.
I brought up the conversation. I don't believe he is, but I'm just saying on paper because then even when you look at his statistics, he wasn't. He just.
I know. I'm just talking shit. Let's push.
All right, so there's your 1 seed. 2 seed. You got to go with probably that 12-13 Heat team, the team that won that first time. I think it would be hard to leave them out too. You can count 3 Hall of Famers there as well, and then even though Pat wasn't the coach, but whatever, Pat's running the team. Another Hall of Famer. There you go.
Okay.
3 seed. This might be controversial to some, but not to me. I think that the 09-10 Lakers would be that 3 seed. No. You know what? Scoot all this down because this goes away from what I said yesterday. I just named the 4, the 3, and the 2. My 1 seed is, what was it? It's the 14-15 Spurs. Whichever team beat LeBron and them. What 14, LeBron, 14. Whoever saw LeBron on the floor in the last time he had a Heat uniform on. Put those guys at 1 because you've got the best coach in NBA history. Maybe he doesn't have Phil's rings, but I think we can all agree that Pop's the best coach. I think he is. He is the Bill Belichick of the NBA.
Some say that it's Ty Lue.
He said, some say, what about Ty Lue?
It came out that Ty Lue was the Bill Belichick of the NBA right before the playoffs.
Okay. Well, who gave us that freezing cold?
I forgot who said that shit.
Okay. Somebody that doesn't watch enough basketball.
So we're saying since 2000. So let me give you my season order.
Okay.
My number 1 seed is the 2017-2018 Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
My number 2 seed is the 01 Lakers.
Okay.
My 3 seed is the I want to go 2013 Heat because they had Ray Allen, and even though D Wade took a step back, LeBron was still getting better.
Okay.
And honestly, my 4 seed, which could have been my 2 seed, my 3 seed, it's gonna be the 18 Warriors.
Okay.
And I know that's not like
it's basically the same team, and I get it.
Exactly, and because it's basically the same team, it's like
now they swept them in that first year with Katie, right? They swept.
No. They went 4-1 the first year. They swept the second year. So my thing is, I hold the
Cavs in there.
I can't. They just
Well, it's an impressive team.
They were, but
and you're a LeBron guy.
I'm a basketball guy first, and when I watch
you're a LeBron guy,
when I am. But when I watch the 17 Warriors, that is the best basketball I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
I've never seen better basketball than that.
Because they caught still the tail end of basically that Warriors team the year before, to where they didn't move on from everybody just yet. Here's the thing, team, right? He wasn't on that team, but
who?
Like I'm just looking at the role players. Barbosa wasn't there. Who left from the previous team? Was David West still there? I think
David West was there until 19.
Was still there, correct? Yeah.
Bogut was on Cleveland in 18 when they played against each other. He got hurt though. Here's my thing. I'm a LeBron guy in and out. But when I watch the 17 and 18 Warriors, I grew up motion offense. I think that's how you play basketball. Cut, screen, move, get open, right? That's basketball. I watched the Warriors do that with one of the best ISO players who ever existed. And he would play motion offense until he needed to go ISO. And I felt like in that first year, he blended it better than it could ever be blended. And just watching that, watching them play, if you like basketball, that shit just like it. I'm gonna say it gives you hard on, but it gives you medium. It really just gets you go, dude, this is great fucking basketball. Like,
yes,
you like, bro, you see KD just fucking come off the pin down, and you see, bro, KD setting back screens for Clay. Like, you don't see people this good do this type of stuff for other people. Like, if you don't play basketball, you can't feel some of that stuff. Pause. You know what I mean? Like. The thought of a high pick and roll with Katie and Steph, and they didn't do that often. But like when they did it, bro, you can't guard that. You can't like hedge, double. No, hold on. We're gonna bring another one up so we can double KD off the quick pass off the pass. No, because he's gonna give it to Clay. Draymond could still kind of shoot in 17. We still respected his 3. So it's like, what do we? Iguodala's on the court. I understand that team had a big vulnerability of post offense and post defense, but their perimeter game was so good and they shot the 3 so well. I just don't know how. I mean, anybody beats it. And Kobe and Shaq from 01, they get the nod at number 2 because of their dominant playoff run, and they lost a fluke to Allen Iverson, but they had Shaq and they had Kobe, and that's 60 points right there, you know?
Yeah. And I'm with you. And let me tell you too, because I'm looking at your list, you know, of course I kind of omitted those Laker teams because as great as Kobe and Shaq were, when I look at the team basis of it, I mean, I think of guys like Samaki Walker. These are guys I can remember on this team. Slavik Medvedenko. I think Ty Lue was on the second, because you're saying the second team, the team that beat the Sixers.
Oh yeah. Ty Lue was on that team.
So Ty Lue was on that one too, just like he was on the 2000 one. But like, I don't know, man. I just look at, and you got to think about it. When that happened, I'll never forget that game in 2001. Back when we had a box TV in my family room. It's one of the bigger ones. We had a whole set. Back when equipment was heavy. And
heavy.
Yeah.
T12 entertainment is heavy.
Like a nigga can walk into his house with an 84-inch flat screen and it not really be a problem. But if you walked in with a 70-inch big boy back then, oh yeah, man, you needed 2-3 feet.
Nah, damn that. You don't even need a 70, bro. If you had the 50-inch.
That's what I'm saying. The big ass
big 50 that took up the whole living room. That whole back wall, that's a TV wall right there.
Back when the remote, in a weird way, wasn't essential. Like, it's essential on these TVs. You have to have a remote. You used to could walk up and just press the button, and you need to change the channel, turn up the volume. It was easy.
Hey, youngest nigga in the house. Go change that channel to 52.
Yeah, man, and it's on channel 2 right now. And so, if you go backwards, it's just going to take you to 99. So it don't matter which way you go because you pretty much going the same way no matter what. And so,
hey, let's keep it going here. We talk about the best champion since 2000. We're not going to debate because we're not Skip Bayless. We're going to talk.
All right.
Worst champions since 2000. I'll go first since I let you go first on the first one.
What are we going to do? Top 4 with this too?
I'm going to do top 4. I can't give you a bracket. I'm just going to give you my top 4 worst champions.
Yeah, in no particular order.
The 2022 Warriors.
Okay.
The 2019 Raptors.
Okay.
I know Najee gonna hit my phone for this. 04 Pistons.
Okay.
And this last one is hard. Because I could throw in those damn 2010 Lakers. I could throw in those 2011 Mavericks.
I don't think you're giving that team enough respect.
But it's going to be the 06 Heat.
Okay, and you named 3 out of my 4. 06 Heat, 04 Pistons, 2022 Warriors. And I know a lot of people may not agree with this. 01 Bucks.
No, 01 Lakers. We're talking about champions, nigga.
Not 01, 21 Bucks. Last year's champion.
I'm not mad at that at all. I thought they were the weak-ass championship teams, honestly. I forgot how weak I thought the niggas was.
Back and won 4-2, right, against the Suns. And we know who the Suns are now after what we saw Luka do. I'm just saying, I mean, Giannis is – that championship cements him as, in my opinion, he still has to build his – I know we talked about legacies. He still has to build a little bit more, but the expectation is of what he is going to do. He's a top bona fide, going to be a top 15 player all time, for sure, right? Unless a serious injury happens or something.
Let's talk about that. I think Giannis is going to end up in a place legacy-wise that his eye test won't meet.
I agree, and I think it's because of his style of play. He doesn't, in a league that's a three-point league, he doesn't shoot that well. He can make you one. He misses free throws, which is in clutch games, that's important. He does miss free throws, which is what made his championship so remarkable. I think in that last game where he dropped 50 in game 6, I think he was maybe 13 of 14 or something from free throw line. So, like, he shot the ball well that day. He showed up, which is what, like I said, those top guys do. Just like Steph Curry with this past year's team did that in game 4 in Boston. They show up. When you're one of those guys, you show up. That's what makes you one of those guys. Those are the games where, man, you might be the dog at the books in Vegas or whatever it is, but they can't equate your show-up game. Like, your show-up game is impeccable. You always show up. You always come through when they absolutely need you to, even though everybody in the room knows you're the one that's going to have the ball in your hand. You still show up.
Hey, can I hit you with some funky shit real quick?
Go for it.
Giannis is the difference between the media and niggas who play basketball. Because basketball players, especially the higher end LeBrons, KDs, they respect what Giannis's end result, right?
And what they more so are like, we know.
Hold on. Let me finish.
No.
But they don't necessarily respect his process the way they respect other guys. And LeBron fell victim to this as well until he refined his game. Because people will say LeBron's not a scorer. And it's like, LeBron's career average is 27 points per game. If that ain't scoring, I don't know what the fuck is. But the way he scores is not the way that we look at scores because it's not coming from shooting. But the media will say, Giannis, he's going to be top 5 before he retires. Blah, 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 blah. And I don't even think those are hot takes. I really think they look at the production. They go, no one can stop this. But then, like, if you play basketball, you go, bro, this nigga can't even shoot, bro. He just long pause. And, like, and, bro, Parlay Pete, you know that as a basketball player, you know, like, it's a certain nigga who can bust your ass pause. And the way he plays the game, you go, bro, you're not that good. You just can do this. And I think Giannis is like the ultimate version of you're not that good. You just 7 foot and athletic and can jump and you bust our ass. But like,
man, he can pass too. He's not a bad passer. Like
he's not, but James Harden does more better.
Great is shoot.
Huh?
The only thing and free throws, which is shooting. The only thing that he doesn't do extremely well is shoot the ball. And even for him, he heats up enough to where it's irrelevant. Like, even though he's going to get fouled and he's going to go to the free throw line and he might shoot 7 or 12 in a game, he is – I wish he could just shoot the fucking ball because if he does, he could be he's the type of guy where you can honestly be like, man, this guy might be the greatest. He could be.
No. Giannis has GOAT potential in him.
For sure.
If Giannis can learn how to shoot, if Giannis can shoot,
he can win a title in Milwaukee. He can almost do anything,
bro. If Giannis can shoot the 3 at 35%, and then you get him to a nice market before
he's at 71% even on the line.
But if you get him to a good market before 33, and he can learn how to shoot the 3 for at 33%, he could get 6-7 rings.
And he's international. And what makes his story so remarkable, which is why Disney's got
I don't even want to watch that shit. He don't deserve a doc yet. He deserves a doc.
The story is remarkable, though. And then the fact that his brothers are in the NBA. Well, one of them is.
Well, you know why they're in the NBA.
He's an international guy, too. But you got to think about this. When he got drafted, and he's a 13th pick, he's a lottery pick. But he looked like a stash player or something when they drafted him. Like, that's what you would take away. You're like, oh, this nigga's like a stat. Another European – just like another international player. Like, look at some of these guys. I remember when Danilo Gallinari got drafted by the Knicks, and the Knicks fans booed him. I think Danilo Gallinari went like 6th or 5th. And then look at Milwaukee drafted an international player before. What was his name? He was an Asian basketball player. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Like Lee Ning or whatever. Yeah, that dude
played for the Lakers briefly. Let me hold on.
Danilo Gallinari.
Yijiang Leon is the nigga's name. Top 6 pick in the draft. You know, so when you see that move, you might think, man, who the fuck is the Greek guy? Like the African Greek guy at that.
Danilo went 6th overall.
Yep, to the Knicks.
Yeah.
09?
08.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really good at some of this stuff. And Yijiang Leon went to the Bucks 6th, probably the very next year, and he's a Chinese player at that, right? So like,
I still ain't saying cuz
Yijiang Leon. You remember Yi?
Nah, I remember, but I still ain't seen cuz play.
He was on the Lakers on the end of Kobe's run. Well, Kobe was probably not playing; he was hurt.
Can I call people cuz even though I ain't no Crip?
Yes.
Hey, let's talk about the best teams that didn't make it over the hump. I'm going to make you go first on this one.
All right, I'll give you 4. We already discussed one, 12-13 Thunder. Now, this doesn't have to be the teams that lost in the finals, right? It could just be –
No. It's just you pick your team. So it would probably be 11-12 Thunder, the Thunder who played against LeBron and them and lost.
But you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't even say them. Actually, give me the 14-15 Thunder. No, the 15-16 Thunder that lost that were up 3-1 on the 73-9 Warriors. Give me them actually over that one.
Okay.
So that's one of them. You kind of put me on the spot, so I have to think just a little bit quickly.
Bro, I sent you this topic last night.
0405 Pacers.
0607 Pacers. Talking about Malice in the Palace?
Yes.
0607. I'm
You're
pretty
right.
sure it's
The
0607.
Pistons had already won their title. So, yes, 0607. 0607 Pacers. A lot of people might not agree with this one.
I take it back. You're 0405.
I was right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, I'm fact checking you.
All right. And I believe I have to put this together. The 17-18 Rockets that were up 3-2.
Yes.
I put them on that list too. And there's one I know because I have to go back and look over these years. Who is just a truly
Love for the Blazers or the Kings?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you got to throw the 02-03 Kings in. They are an example. You know, there's so many of them because you can look at some of those Phoenix teams. And you could throw them in as well. Those were teams that probably should have gotten where they should have gotten. It's so much easier in the NFL to identify these teams than it is the NBA. Because I feel like there have been multiple years where there have been multiple teams. Like, I tell you what, an honorable mention even to just move us up to an odd 5 here. That 18-19 Sixers, the Jimmy Butler Sixers. That's another – I mean, that lost to Toronto on a fucking tier. I mean, this is a team that if they win that series –
They win that ring. They win that ring.
They win the
ring. Win that ring. Like, Jimmy –
gets injured, but I think they give – even
Jimmy –
Brady in a healthy they don't win the series maybe against – but they go 7 with a healthy KD and a healthy Clay.
Right. No, Jimmy's proven that he that. So let me think about my best teams who didn't get it.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw that Kings team in there. I feel like they get in there because we're talking about it, right? Tim Donaghy said no.
Yeah.
I was trying to work one of those Blake Griffin Clippers teams in there, and I just couldn't do it. And I want to get real Bill Simmons-y right now, and I want to say the 2013 Thunder if they don't make the Harden trade, right? Ain't that some Bill Simmons shit?
What?
2013
throwing in something if they don't
2013 Thunder if they don't trade Harden.
And remember, they traded for Kevin Martin, who a lot of people have to remember that
20-point guy.
Kevin Martin, he was a 20-plus guy for them.
Nobody thought it was a bad trade when it happened.
He was really good in Sacramento too before he went to Houston.
Nobody thought it was a bad trade. So I'm gonna throw in the 2012 Thunder. I'm gonna throw in the
You don't like the?
I'm gonna throw in that Rockets team because they're
16 Thunder a little bit more. I thought they were better.
I don't, because I think they would have lost in the championship. I really think LeBron then would have beat them because they would have had 2 bigs on the court, and they would have had Roberson on the court.
To remember,
they would have Andre Roberson on the court, and he can't score points. So I wasn't as big on that 2016 team as everybody else was.
But Cephalosha was still on that team too, right?
Possibly.
I don't think he was a Hawk yet.
I don't know, but he wasn't good.
They had Perk. Big Perk was on that team.
But no, so I'm gonna say the 2012 team. I would give you the 2017 Thunder, not Thunder. The 2018 fucking Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
The 2017 Spurs are close. I'm not gonna say the 2013 Spurs because they won it in 2014. So sorry, bro. If you was like the 2 niggas who didn't get that ring.
Yeah, we can't name any team that actually ended up winning it.
But you know what? I'll bring it back. I'll give you 2017 Spurs. No, you know what? No, fuck
Hey,
that.
they
No,
ended
no,
up
no, no, no. I take it back. I
winning.
take it back. Give me Jimmy them. Give me Jimmy,
That Sixers.
Ben, Tobias, and yeah, the 2019
So
Sixers.
we agreed on 2 out of the 3: the Sixers team and the Rockets team.
Yeah, but like this isn't even a big debate topic for me and you because I'll tell you my 2 extra teams. You tell me your 2 extra teams. We go, yeah, nigga, that makes sense. Like it's just to throw it out there, you know. But let's talk about that Sixers team for a hot second. Think about how the NBA changes if Kawhi doesn't make that shot. Sixers go into overtime. They bust their head. They go to the Eastern Conference Finals, win it, and then if they win that title, Jimmy doesn't make it to Miami. He's a Philly legend because we talked about it already. We tiered the players. You got tier 1. Jimmy is not tier 1, but I promise you, he's the only person in tier 2 who can go to tier 1 and say, "Hey, nigga, I need my 5 minutes," and they'll go like, "All right, bro, let's go out. Let's go in the closet real quick and lock it up." And Jason Tatum ain't in that top 5. I know he was all NBA this year. If you put Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum in the closet, who walking out? Jimmy Butler with braids that ain't even fucked up. His braids still good.
Right.
And that's not a knock on Jason Tatum. It's just more of what Jimmy Butler is.
Yes, Tatum isn't, and I think this finals proved it. He doesn't have the dog in him, and he has the potential to get that dog. Jimmy
he has a talent,
dog, but Jimmy doesn't have as much talent as many of the players in the NBA. Jimmy does things well, but Jimmy isn't the most talented basketball player. He's a guy that got a lot of his reputation more so when he started with D Rose as a defensive player.
I don't think you understand. Jimmy Butler is my second favorite player in the NBA. I probably like Jimmy Butler more than I like LeBron, but LeBron is so much better that like I just ride the LeBron shit. But like I love Jimmy Butler, the player, everything he stands on. He ain't no privileged star, and Jimmy Butler still don't get his due for how great he is. And it's just like, yo, Jimmy's producing though. I mean, he's a drop 3-pointer away from being in the finals 2 out of 3 years. And don't tell me Al Horford affected that shot. Don't tell me that he was tired and he missed that shot. No, he just missed. Like he had it lined up perfectly.
He should have went to the hole.
Leg. Huh?
He should have went to the hole.
Maybe. And that's the conversation, but nonetheless, he was like, "Nah, fuck them. I don't respect them. I'm trying to kill them." And that's what he did. And he missed. But like, I understand there's a guy on this team who made $18 million last year and he barely played. We're fixing that.
He's supposed to be a 3-point specialist, but
hey, can we talk about Sha'Carri? Because you know what, Jew really pissed me off yesterday.
You've been waiting on this. Go ahead.
Because Jew was saying, "I'll talk about Sha'Carri. I'll talk about Lizzo. Who else will I talk shit about?"
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, okay.
Luka Doncic.
Yes, sir.
I'm starting to think Nikola Jokic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've got quite a long list here. Pops. I mean, we could go a lot of different.
We haven't publicly talked about Pops.
That's true, but most people anyone that's for the most part, they don't know who that could be your dad for all we know. And so
we talking about that nigga Pops. Yeah. If you know Justin LeBoy, you know Pops.
Right.
And that nigga Pops that you like, I reached out to him because he said he needed more people to do content. I said, "What kind of content you need, man?" I was ready to work for. I was gonna humble myself and work for the guy. I honestly, no bullshit. I respect the work that Pops done put in his content space, and I think it's dope. But I also think I'm better than him at content. But that's a conversation for another day.
Right.
But who we talking about again?
People that
Sha'Carri. Let me find her shit.
that can get a lease in your noggin.
No. We're talking about Sha'Carri, but yeah, Sha'Carri does live there next to Pops. While I'm looking for this, did you watch the BT Awards?
I did not. I didn't even know that it was on. This was probably one of the more, and I don't watch as much TV either, but like even YouTube, I would think with one of the ads, I'd run into it considering how much rap I listen to. And we know that, I hate to say it, 75% of that show is hip hop. So, yeah, they highlight neo soul, R&B, gospel, and among other things. But typically I see something that says, I didn't even know that it was going on until the next morning.
Bro, I didn't know it either until I saw it on my.
I swear to God, I didn't even know the BET Awards was going on.
All right, so here we go. We got Sha'Carri Richardson sounding off.
Oh, wait, before you say this, but that goes to show just how old we are, because that used to be, even if you didn't watch it, you knew about it.
Yeah.
Hell, I know when the Grammys are on.
Well, hey, stop that.
And I don't watch that either, but like, I see enough advertising for it to know.
Let me see. Try and get Sha'Carri talking. Here we go.
Wow, because every time you step on the track, you be looking so fly, and I just want to know where the drip be coming from.
Hey, honestly, it be like very, very spontaneous. Little do you know, but I just know that whenever I step on the track, win, lose, draw, I want all.
That is not the clip I'm looking for.
I know which one you're looking for. Her.
Yeah, I'm looking for when her telling the media.
Media.
Yeah, because I think that's a valuable clip. Let me see if this is the right one.
Speaking about what was going on, what was going on through your mind trying to be on both sides of the court?
It was actually hard. I was like, I'm at the actual meet, but trying to keep you all updated.
That ain't it either. Bro, it was all over Instagram. Let's see. Are you listening to Stephen A. Smith? Sha'Carri Richardson interview. Yeah, like here we go.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Let's talk about the weekend as a whole.
No, I have what I have to say, and y'all can all take this interview and do whatever you want to do with it. I'm coming to speak not on just my behalf, but all athletes' behalf. That when you guys do interviews, y'all should respect athletes more. Y'all should understand them coming from whether they're
Can't speak for all athletes.
winning, whether they're losing, whatever the case may be. Athletes deserve way more respect than when y'all just come and throw cameras into their faces. Understand how an athlete operates, and then ask your questions. Then be more understanding of the fact that they are still human, no matter just the fact that y'all just trying to get something to put out in an article to make $1. Thank you.
Period. So here's what Sha'Carri's missing. Hey, let me rant real quick, right? I think that if you take Sha'Carri's words in a vacuum, absolutely right. The media should be more receptive of athletes and understand their state of mind and what they're going through after they lose or win an event. Absolutely right. But when you want the cameras to look at you, when you're doing feature articles in major publications, when you're talking about the system being against you because you smoked weed because your mother died and that's how you coped with your mother passing away, and then you get your ass whooped in a race and people say, hey, how do you feel? Don't say, hey, be sensitive to how I feel right now. Well, bro, he just asked how you feel. He didn't say, he didn't tell you how to feel. But because you've become a celebrity, and what often is happening now is we're creating celebrities who aren't great at what they do. Part of being a celebrity is being great. Y'all want to shit on Kim Kardashian and the Kardashian family for not having talent. Their talent is making y'all care and making y'all buy shit, making y'all watch shit. Y'all sell ads for the Kardashian family. So guess what? They're great at something. Let me tell you what Sha'Carri's great at. Sha'Carri is great at making me come on my podcast and bash a black woman. Her best skill is making me come and bash a black woman on a national platform that, you know, gets heard. And I don't know who listens to this shit, but that's what she does. And it makes me look like a coon, you know, Draymond's words, not mine. When I beat up on her, it's like, how come you don't support black women? How come you don't big her up? Well, because she does dumb shit like this. A guy asked her a question. Hey, how's your weekend? Media, y'all should respect me and respect how I feel. I'm not an animal. Y'all should just watch. Oh, nigga, I just asked how you felt. You can just tell me how you feel. You can say, hey, I'm really bummed out that I sucked this week. I got sucked most weeks because what I've typically done after my amazing Olympic qualifier 100 is sucked. You know, Sha'Carri's performance on a track reminds me of a hooker's performance in a room. On the knees, blowing cock. You know, it's not getting the job done.
What is your problem? What is your problem, man? She was eating cooch. She wasn't blowing cock. But either way, she wasn't getting gold.
Nobody
came off after her performance. That's for sure.
Nobody came to her performance. There's no coming or caming or any of that around what Sha'Carri's doing.
This is like the fucking not the World Cup. Yeah. This is like the Qatar World Cup. I mean, there's going to be no coming at that event. You know, they've made that very clear. Either that or you're going to jail.
It's the bubble. It's the bubble finals. You can't come here.
Absolutely. And so, you know what's weird? I think the quote that comes to me, when I was a child, I did childish things.
So when you were Sha'Carri, you did childish things.
Well, that's what she is, brother. She's a child still, and that's the reality of it. You know, she got famous overnight for being this fast black girl that smoked weed that couldn't go to the Olympics because of it.
She got famous for being fast, Brittany Griner.
Exactly, and she wears very long nails while she does it. There's a lot of things that go into like her matriculation to, for all intents and purposes, the top. And I think that, you know, she needs a good mentor in her life. And I guess they said she lost her mom, right? She, just like Meg Thee Stallion, she lost her mother, correct?
Yeah.
And look, I've lost my mom. So, like, I know how that can feel. And I lost my mom probably about the same age as her. Like, I don't know how old
you were
she was.
younger.
I was 19. Matter of fact, I had only been 19 for 2 months. And so, like, I think, like, I get it. I think she just needs guidance. And somebody did say that, like, not too long afterwards, that like this girl needs some guidance. And I think that that's just kind of what it is. But because of the day and age that we live in, kids don't listen really to fuck parents, like type adults. They don't even really have like an OG to hang on. And I don't blame, because I'm sure maybe somebody has wanted to be that for her or was trying to be that for her. But like, I've still got OGs. Now, granted, I have older brothers. So like, even outside of my brothers, I have older people that I can go to. I have people my age that I can go to. If I've got an issue, I feel very comfortable coming to you and being able to talk about it and getting your take on it and taking that knowledge and, you know, using it in the best possible way. Like, I think that somebody like that, because of how, first of all, it was their ability that got them to that point, they will solely believe in that ability as opposed to, well, what helped me really get here too? And it's not, give the people around you credit for you, because that's not the case. But at the same time, you've got to at least have some sort of a, you know, something to lean on in any time, good and bad. Like,
bro,
I've never met anyone that made it to the top that was so happy that they went to the club and bought a section by themselves, and they were by themselves and they were popping champagne by themselves. That's not the way celebration works. Nor should it be the way failure works. Failure doesn't work that way either. There are times when you are alone, especially if you're somebody that lives by yourself. You can cry yourself to bed. You can do whatever it is and be so disappointed in yourself because you're hard on yourself. But typically, there will be moments where somebody knows, man, it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're failing right now. And that's a part of this journey of life. I don't know anyone that doesn't fail in life. Everybody has failed. It doesn't matter what in today's world, it doesn't matter what social media says or the poker face that you put on in real life if you're walking around. We all fail. And so it's okay. But it doesn't mean it's okay to eventually lash out at someone about your failures because you're just that frustrated. But at the same time, you also have to look at it too, like, man, from her perspective, there could be a 9-year-old girl that runs track that's like, man, she's my favorite track star. And it's not like Charles Barkley said, I'm not raising your kids. Right.
I love that though.
Well, Chuck's telling the truth too. I think, and he said it more so from the extent of, I don't think he was talking in general in a sense of, I'm not a role model, but more from the perspective of, do not put that pressure on me.
No. It's not even that. What Chuck talked about, he was like, what y'all dumb niggas, he didn't say this. He said it much more eloquently. What y'all dumb niggas don't understand, it's easier to be a doctor, dentist, or lawyer than it is to play in the NBA. So start looking up to doctors, dentists, and lawyers and stop looking up to NBA players. You don't have the physical assets. You don't have the mentality to do this.
The true hard work.
Exactly. But to bring this back to Sha'Carri, right? Because I think she does need guidance. And she needs real guidance. And when I come and rip Sha'Carri, I don't rip Sha'Carri because of Sha'Carri. I come and rip Sha'Carri because of the people who rally around Sha'Carri's nonsense. Because Sha'Carri's entitled to feel what she's feeling because she's the one feeling it. But then don't tell me that I have to accept what she's feeling because she said she's feeling it. And I go, hey, look, you lose races. You're not famous if you don't smoke weed and not go to the Olympics. And then Drake throws you in a video.
Right.
We don't care about you if none of this stuff happens, okay? Like,
you're just like any of the other chicks that have been winning.
Exactly.
Your appearance isn't even like.
And so, yeah, you want to do the long nails, you want to do the extra shit that brings attention to you. That's fine. But understand that when you do extra stuff, people are going to talk about you more.
Extra
so
shit.
When you do more, you got to win. Hey, Parlay Pete, you a hooper. Fuck that. Fuck you being a hooper. I've been talking shit about beating your brother in one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
If he beats me, I will never live it down, ever.
Well, you're going to want to run it back.
I'm definitely going to run it back. It's definitely going to.
And vice versa. It's going to turn into a 3-game series. For sure.
Exactly. But because people been talking shit, and then I've even taken the extra step to like take podcast clips and put it on Instagram to talk shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, bruh, I'm bringing this out and I got to stand on it. And while we talking about that, Wayne disrespecting my one-on-one game, remember who carried us in that 3-on-3 tournament. Remember that.
You bastard. That's what he's trying to tell you, Wayne.
I just gotta let Wayne know because I didn't like the way he talked in my comments, and I didn't want to address it in my comments because I addressed shit that I have issues with on my podcast. It was like, you might need some coaching. Remember who carried us in that 3-on-3 tournament. Just remember that.
The most interesting aspect of when you guys play is that I haven't seen you play, and I've seen Justice play, obviously, right? So like, I haven't seen you play, but I know how Justice plays, and so like,
I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Like,
I got upset because of the odds I set, and I thought I was being generous.
I like those odds. I was gonna bet on me.
I thought I was being generous, even by giving you -200, and then +150. I thought.
What I thought people were missing was I play basketball on a regular basis. So even if Justice is better than me, I'm playing basketball
way
more regularly than he is.
And I couldn't tell you, like, well, we played.
You're thinking about it.
We played at our gym. We played like, it's been a minute, but like,
yeah, you think about it. I play pickup basketball. If I'm not traveling,
the last time you played a game of basketball, I bet that he can't recall.
And that's the thing is like I played basketball last Saturday, And the only reason I'm not playing basketball tomorrow when I get off is because I got a barbershop appointment at 2:15 on the other side of town. That's away from where I play pickup at. But if I didn't have to go to the barbershop tomorrow, I would go hoop when I got out from work. So like I play pickup once a week at least.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to somebody who don't play basketball as much, fuck if they're better. It's like, well, nigga, have you been shooting? Like, because
Which, by the way, when you guys do that game, now just because, and it's fair for both sides. When we get in there, because obviously I'm going to be there. When we get in there, you know, I'd say a 15 to 30 minute shoot around beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I wouldn't want to play the game without a shoot around.
You know, talk right. Well, I knew we weren't going to come in and just like, all right, there's the ball, let's get it going. It was never going to be that, but definitely a 15 to 30 minute shoot around. Because I'm gonna get some shots up too. Because who knows, I might come in as well.
After I beat Justice, me and you are definitely gonna play a game of 1-on-1 for fun.
Play me, yeah. Play me.
Like I'm not betting you, but we're gonna play just for fun.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, for Boink's bachelor party, which by the way, we need to talk a little bit. We can do that off here, but
you know what? You've been trying to get the basketball game going because when we at the spot we stay in LA, you were like, "Hey, bro, we can hoop here. We can hoop here."
Yes.
You've been saying that shit since like 2016.
If we went to LA, we could go to that hotel and do it, and so like we really could, and it would be dope because it's a rooftop. It's a rooftop.
You understand what's going on with my life? I got to be on the East Coast.
Well, and Boink prefers to be East as well. But I'm just saying, we did throw the West Coast out there. And granted, I don't think we would go to LA for that. But I'm just simply saying.
Hey, I want
to go to basketball court where we go. Or it needs to be in the neighborhood to one or something.
After talking to my brain trust, I got to drive to where we're going.
All right, well, then it's Florida. I mean, it sounds like it's pretty much.
It's Florida, New Orleans.
And it not only does it have to be Florida, it can't be Miami because Miami from Albany is still probably
no. That's okay. I just got to be able to. If I got to be somewhere within 12 hours, get in a car.
Right.
And even if you're thinking about booking that flight, that's.
Or it could be significantly more expensive. Which it won't matter. I mean, you'd pay the money regardless.
But look, hey, bro, R. Kelly getting 30, bro. And if black social media is mad that R. Kelly getting 30 and Ghislaine Maxwell is getting 20, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all. R. Kelly did it and Ghislaine facilitated it. Scorers get more money than point guards. So R. Kelly got to get more time than Ghislaine.
His is fed, right?
I don't know. I assume. I hope.
I know it's spread out over 2 states, so it's like more than 2 states, but
federal.
Well, I think it's fed. Yeah, I think he's doing that. That's gonna be fed. I mean, think about it. Jared, the Subway guy. I think he got 12 or 14, something. Bro,
I'll tell you, just didn't sit right with me is like. I
don't think that there's any video of him doing something. I don't know, but like
Dave Chappelle got rich off of what R. Kelly going to prison for. Maybe Dave Chappelle's the coon. That's a joke.
You know, you run for office one day. Somebody's gonna cut that clip, and then Dave's gonna derail your whole campaign,
bro. That's why I have to throw the joke in there real quick because
Dave want to understand more than anyone, right?
Because my thing is the pro-black community rarely wants to hold black people accountable for the actual crimes that they commit, you know?
Dave will throw that in a stand-up and be like, and then the Big Baby podcast host, Big Baby, said that I got rich off of what R. Kelly's going to jail for. I know, right? Niggas telling the truth, though. Just like put it but that's what'll happen. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like, you know how much money I made off that sketch alone? I had motherfuckers coming up to me saying, yo, man, I bought season 2 of Dave Chappelle, Dave. Man, that fucking R. Kelly shit lit. it rents.
Dave.
It has a rented space in my brain, brother. I can't help but pay the rent every single time. Like,
now it is right, Dave. I pissed on my bitch because of that R. Kelly video,
right,
and she liked it, and now I'm rich, bitch.
right. And that's exactly what Dave would do with that information, though.
But now that's the thing, because like I make the joke about it.
Him and Rick James.
Let me tell you what, that Rick James. Hey, the Rick James shit is real. Remember, I did Rick James for Halloween.
Oh, you're talking about using?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I did the Rick James shit for Halloween, and let me tell you, the stuff I got away with saying that night, I could never do that again in my life. Like you get thumbs down. I was doing shit like that all night, and it worked. Shut up, Siri. I'm gonna ask you, but like it was working, and I could just be, and people be like, "Who are you?" I'm Rick James, bitch. Let me see your titties.
And they might do it. Did anyone do it?
Yes.
No. I'm not surprised though. But that's why Halloween, especially on nights like that, yeah, you got your nuns out there, your sober gooses. But for the most part, everybody's pretty much partying. It's the international costume party. We don't get to go to the Met Gala. Not everybody can go to the Met Gala and wear something this extravagant that costs a lot of money. You can have a cheap ass fucking Halloween costume. Like
I spent less than $100 in my Rick James costume.
Because you said you bought the red, right?
No, I didn't even go red. I'm gonna do that later, the Eddie Murphy joint. But now with the Rick James, I went to H&M, got a pair of of pleather women's pants.
Yeah.
I go to the women's side to make sure they were super tight.
Yeah.
I went to the Goodwill, got this leather jacket. And then I went to Party City, got the Rick James wig and a cowboy hat. And then I threw on like some fake chains and my real chains.
Yeah.
And then I was just moving around. I was just like, give it to me, baby. And you know what I'm saying? You're just saying like little Rick James shit.
Yeah.
And it worked. But like the crazy part about it was, let me tell you, the crazy part about that whole thing was, you talk about R. Kelly getting 30 for what he did. And give him 30, give him 40, give him 50. Don't let him out, whatever. But I would tell you that every person who engaged with R. Kelly, all of them weren't victims. Some of them were about that because of the way I was able to act like I was Rick James for a night. And it worked. I could imagine being the real R. Kelly and acting like yourself and that shit working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, this is not me excusing his actions because I think R. Kelly's a creep and he overstayed his welcome.
Well, he's the Piper of R&B.
Right, and he's getting what he deserves. But at the same time, I know every person who was involved with R. Kelly was not a victim. Some of them wanted that shit. Because the fact that I could go up to a woman and go, hey, bitch, them titties get 2 thumbs down because they suck. And she goes,
titties.
Right. If I do that tomorrow as Adam Lee,
sexual harassment.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I say, like,
the camera's on you while you did it, so there's always the proof.
Bruh, and that's the thing, bruh. That's why unpopular take. I lost a lot of respect for a lot of what a lot of women stand on after I was Rick James for Halloween. And I told my wife this shit too. I was like, bro, I lost a lot of respect for a lot of women because of what I got away with as acting like I was Rick James for a night versus me being me and how people treat me back and forth. It's like, you expect me to, like, you fell for this. This was a costume and a joke. And you just ready to show me your titties. But then if I just walk up to you on a Wednesday night and say, hey, how you doing? I would love to see your breasts because I think they're good.
All right, there you go. You walk up and you like, it's like, they're looking great.
It's like, oh, you're a creep.
You don't have to show me right this second, but later on, do you mind?
Shawty, I don't. mind. But like, and that's the thing, bro. Like when you actually decide to be a sex symbol for Halloween and you see how you get treated like a sex symbol, or if you're like Matt and you decide to be Matt for a day and then you go back to being a normal guy for a day,
Right.
and then you go, this logic can't add up because the words that are coming out are the absolute same, but the person that you think you're talking to is different.
Oh, this math ain't mathing?
Exactly. And it's okay that your math ain't math as a woman. You can like pick and choose to do what you want to do. I'm not telling you what to pick and choose. I don't care what you pick and choose. But let me tell you, from my underdeveloped brain at that point in time, I was like, yo, this shit don't make sense at all. You don't like me. I thought you here 3 weeks ago, but now that I'm acting like I'm Rick James, you love me. Or the one dumb girl who was like, are you Lil Wayne? I'm like, why do you think I'm Lil Wayne? She was like,
cowboy hat on.
She was like, because you have tattoos. I go, oh, baby, these tattoos are real. I just can't get rid of them.
Right.
I,
More importantly, did I say young moolah baby, bitch? Rick James. Like,
yo, does R. Kelly deserve 30 or what? You know what I mean? Because
if that's what the criminal justice system says he deserves, then he deserves it. He was found guilty, and that's what people that get found guilty. Just like you said, allegedly, if Young Thug and them, unpopular opinion, Young Thug and them, if they're guilty, they need to fucking go to jail. It doesn't matter how much money they make or how good their music is. I like Thug's music too. But at the end of the day, that's a part of doing the crime. You're okay with doing the time if you get caught, clearly. And so now obviously some things are rigged to where, let's say he didn't really, like he wasn't one of these things, but knowing Atlanta and knowing rap, like there's a good chance that if they found something, they had to make sure that it stuck. He's going to do time or somebody's going to squeal. And that he could be that person that squeals. Because now we get to put the rap talk to the test. Like, he could go out and say Yak Gotti did it all. Seriously. And Yak might have been the trigger man. Yak was the one that wanted to kill the nigga, and he was just like, well, I'm going to ride with you. I'm your homie. And he might do it to where Yak gets 100. But, him and Gunna, they're just affiliates, man. Give us that Bobby Shmurda. Bobby and the Rowdy Rebels, they did 7 years, 8. Yeah. And it was basically the same thing. It was a RICO. But, of course, I'm assuming GS9 that there was somebody else that was pulling the triggers and stuff. And they couldn't find it to where they're saying that he was the one that said, man, off that nigga. Like, it was his personal. I don't know anything about the case, but I'm just simply saying, you do that. You do what you do and you get found guilty, bro. Face it. You got to face it. And same thing with R. Kelly.
Yeah. R. Kelly, you're going to take your time. And for anybody who's trying to rationalize Ghislaine's time versus R. Kelly, hey, they both creeps. Hey, sit down forever. But I think you brought up a good point talking about like Bobby Shmurda and them. And
theirs was RICO, right? If I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that RICO?
I don't know if it was RICO, but it was in that same ballpark of
gang-related activity. Somebody died.
Dan Canty.
Gang-related activity. Gangster who got caught up. And honestly deserved to get caught up, bro. Here's my thing.
And he did his time.
Bro, if you don't commit crimes, you ain't gotta sit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Parlay Pete, we come out here, we talk shit all the time. And most of the crimes that happen out in life, in the world, we're not oblivious to it. But we're not tied to it either because we don't participate in that life.
Exactly. A woman got shot right here at the subway, as we all saw. That subway is right here.
Right down north side.
Not even a mile from my house. And too much mayo. I mean, I want you to get everybody to think about these things and how it's very easy in these cases, more specifically the Young Thug one, if somebody shoots somebody over got some goddamn mayo on a sandwich, come on now.
But my thing, if somebody would shoot somebody over some mayonnaise on the sandwich, something that simple.
Too much of it.
Somebody else need to snitch. Somebody need to say, hey, nah, it was him. He was tripping. He needs to go to jail. I think that black culture has accepted this whole no snitching thing as a form of self-preservation that is actually counterproductive. Because don't get me wrong, if me and Parlay Pete, we go commit a crime together that we plan to commit together, I get caught, he don't get caught. Nah, we don't snitch. We don't see a damn thing. But if I get Parlay Pete my keys, he say, hey, bro, I'm about to go to the south side, holla at this little chick. I'm about to go, you yada, 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 mean, whoop the whoop. I bet. Then he do some wild shit down there in my whip. He don't get seen, he don't get caught, but then I'm driving 3 days later in my whip and I get pulled over and they like, hey, this vehicle, these tag numbers was at this crime, this crime, this crime.
We got to take you in, big dog. And we knew that it was registered in your name, and we finally got you.
Right, and I'm sitting here like, I didn't drive my car that weekend. I didn't let my partner hold that shit.
Like, okay, well, so then what were you doing? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go back and look, but I can promise you I wasn't doing that and here.
And then if I call you and I go, hey, bro, and I'm talking about on my phone, not like locked up phone. I'm like calling you, hey, bro, you had my whip. This shit happened, my nigga. They trying to take me in.
I don't know
and
what
you
you're
like,
about, brother.
And you go, bro, I'm only talking about charge to the game. And I go, why should I hold it down for you when you ain't holding it down for me? Because you set me up to be a suspect for something I had nothing to do with. It'll be one thing if I said, hey, bro, go pull up on them boys. Here my keys. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you get caught up, but if you physically get out, but my car is stuck there, all right, bro, I'll go fight that because I made that call. If you say, hey, man, I need to take my baby mom to the airport, and I say, hey, bro, here are my keys, and
then I really went to Riverdale and I shot up some shit.
Right. It's like, hold on. I shouldn't be a bitch ass nigga for not. I should be a bitch ass nigga for saying, hey, bro, I gave this guy my keys from this time, and I had nothing to do with the fuck he was doing.
Well, for protecting yourself.
Right. And I think that's the problem with black.
Like, you don't have a family. Like, you don't have people that love you like you were involved or something when you weren't.
And that's my issue with black culture because they talk about being standing down, holding it down, being there. It's like, bro, why am I holding it down for somebody who is trying to fuck me over? We at 2.5 hours. Let's close it out, baby.
Let's get it done. Were we tapped out of our topics for this week?
Nah, we still got topics that we didn't talk about, but R. Kelly got 30, Ghislaine got 20. I know y'all want to get mad about them getting not enough, but they locked them up, and hopefully neither one of them get out. I doubt Ghislaine gets out because they'll probably she'll probably just hang herself because of her.
She's not that old though. She's like 50.
Yeah, I just think she might hang herself while nobody's watching and there's no cameras in her cell. Similar to Epstein.
So they say. You know, a lot of people don't believe that he really killed himself.
I don't either, and I don't think she'll really kill herself, but I think that's what they'll tell us. Because she got the list, and they don't want the list to come out.
And more importantly, the people with the list can pay any and everyone and make sure that they're taken care of very well, and we can discard all this, including the people that have the autopsies and stuff.
Exactly, and that's my thing. I'm like, either the list gonna come out or it's not, and Ghislaine is gonna do less time. I just can't see Ghislaine doing a full 20 years.
She's simply gonna check in.
And not giving up the list, yeah. And R. Kelly's gonna do a full 30 years, and he's gonna live that life because he's black.
He's already accepted it anyways. There's somebody that put out, I think it was a TikTok, where he was singing. Somebody's dad is in jail with him, He was singing over the phone or something.
Happy people. Yeah.
One thing's for sure, he's gonna always win that talent show.
Absolutely. But hey, dog, I'm gonna holler at you.
Absolutely. Been a great one. Can't wait for next week already. We'll probably have a lot more NBA free agent innuendo that we're going to get to go through because we're going to know a little bit more about the league that we're about to see this upcoming season.
Absolutely, bro. I can't wait to see you in person. I'm looking for time in my schedule to find you.
Let me know. As long as it's not this weekend, which it won't be.
Bro, look here. I got a wife now.
Oh, and then the end of July. Turks and Caicos. Can't wait. Pump.
Who you going with?
Baby mother birthday. She's turning 30. So
hey, you're doing it right.
And I don't know if we're gonna bring the daughter or not.
You're doing it right. If you could leave her at home, I would. You're doing it right. Go enjoy Turks and Caicos with her. Y'all have a great fucking time. Have you been to Turks?
Yeah. We went. Me, Justice. Funny enough, it was only me, Justice, and my dad in 2013.
Okay, yeah, I went to Turks in 2014. Yeah, great fucking time. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I see why everybody goes there.
Yeah.
It is arguably the best Caribbean island to go to.
Hey, real quick before we close it out. Sometimes I try to identify with regular people on this podcast most of the time. And then there's certain times I go, boy, I did something that y'all can't relate to. Sorry.
Right.
We're talking about abortion. I talk about abortion by myself, right?
Right.
And I was like, I just can't be as mad as y'all are about abortion because I'm not in a place in life where I'm looking for abortion. And if I was, I can afford to fly to another state. And
that will allow it. Exactly.
Right. And I felt like an asshole saying it on the pod, but it's like
on a loophole. Now I get it. The inconvenience of it shouldn't exist, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, can I give up $750 to go get an abortion real quick?
Well, how serious is it for you? If that's what you want to do, let's say the round trip $750, and then let's say the actual procedure is $1,000. You don't have $2,000 to go get that done, but you're hell bent on the idea of it getting done, but it can be done for that amount. What if it was still legal and that's just the cost of it? Let's say the government made it more expensive to do. Then what's the man? We can't afford to get.
Hey,
it's one or the other. Like,
hey, businessman, hear this out. One of my things was, hey, maybe you should just move states. Some of us move states for college. Some of us move states for jobs. And back in the day, once they got the industrial thing booming up in Detroit, and they started building cars up there, people left the South because they didn't want to be sharecroppers and farmers no more. So they moved to Detroit to build cars. And other people moved to California for what was going on out there. I go, what's the difference between that and leaving the state you live in for abortion? It's nothing.
More importantly, and I know that you can still have a child with a condom or having birth control, but more importantly, if you really don't want to have a baby, basically, or you want to have sex with somebody that at the time you haven't made your commitment, and that's for both men and women, by the way. I'm not just talking to women, I'm talking to both. You probably fucking should do everything in your power to avoid even getting to that point if it's about that.
Yeah, bro. What I boiled the whole thing down to, and we can bring this back maybe next week in a full conversation, is sexual responsibility, bro. Understand who you're having sex with, understand where that can go, and being comfortable with the best and the worst. Exactly. But hey, Parlay Pete, we don't want to start this conversation. We're at 2.5 hours in, dog. Hey, right. It's good seeing you, bro.
All right, good to see you too, as always, brother.
All right, man. You have a good one. Big baby hat.